Let's see, do we have audio? Yes, we do. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's why. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's English subtitles, but like the voice acting being German, and the voice acting is pretty good in German. Actually, I was impressed. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit the lips of the characters. Actually, I was impressed. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit the lips of the characters. I'm hearing
Or my
myself.
hair.
I'm hearing myself.
Oh, somebody
Where
else.
am I
Okay,
hearing
I'm
myself?
hearing you.
Cthulhu stream.
Is it?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
okay, within Discord because I don't have the page open.
Yes.
I think. Okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Yeah.
But
I do have the
okay,
stream
within
ongoing
Discord
now.
because I don't have the page open. I think. Okay, thanks.
Oh, I need to put the audio off. Da-da-da. Mute. Thank you. Go away now. So, yeah, we are doing a little Q&A today instead of actual gameplay because I'm
Why
mentally
is your
exhausted.
voice terrible now?
What? Cthulhu, your voice is very
Terrible.
muffled, and we hear ourselves also from the stream.
No, we don't anymore.
Yeah, I took the stream off already.
Okay.
But you sound like your voice is
You're
running
in
through
well.
multiple
Uh,
compression levels.
let me see. Maybe the EQ is just not working right now. So I will just delete them. Yeah, don't ask me.
It's getting better.
There we go. I took off all the EQs.
It's good.
Yeah, most likely they were just not working right now. Oh. Anyways, yeah. Let's do this little Q&A. Questions for the GM about how it is to run it, and if you guys have like questions about how or was any of the things planned that you've been doing on the campaign, and if you have questions about the future of the campaign, I can answer some of them, not all, of course.
What's the end?
Don't need to have this then here. I could just put you guys here.
Oh fuck, man! That's a
And
big chunk of hair coming off.
Yeah.
That happens when I use elastics. That it hurts my hair.
This looks like a cat's
I know, I know,
hairball.
I know. But like, if you use elastics, then there's a focal point of where the hairs entangle and start breaking.
And well, I do have a thing that actually like
you know there's hairbands that don't break hair, right?
Yeah, I've been paying attention to that as well. That I'm not buying those cheaper plastics. I've more, how do I say it? A little bit softer and not a straight thing, but actually more like, don't know if the camera can show it properly, but yeah, a bit more thick and a little bit more rugged. You see?
Those were still Paul Couture's hair.
Yeah, and I have this like comb
Is it the
that's
plastic
actually
coils?
is made so it wouldn't pull hair out and breaks the
Yep.
things. But I'm just using my comb that's actually meant for my beard because
You got what you
it
need
just
in it on hand.
happens to be like 5 meters away from me, the actual hair comb.
Well, okay.
Too
That's
far.
just lazy now.
It's very far. Yeah.
Yeah. It's longer than my cable allows me, so that's why. I would have to pull out the plugs and walk.
Actually, I'm still going to serve myself the
when your hair is in your
pina
armpit.
colada because now I feel like I want it. Feel.
Yeah. Go all out, go all out. We were supposed to be clubbing today, but
I even did a quick drawing as well, and I sent it to you.
yeah, I did notice. It was looking pretty nice. I also have like
I tried to
if
use as
someone
little
wanted to
fabric as
gamble,
possible.
I did have games ready for gambling.
Mm.
But yeah, I don't think I would be able to remember any names right now.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You know the name of the next person who's gonna die?
Why where's much? Don't miss on the next episodes. This character is going to die.
I can tell you that there will be shapeshifters in this near future.
Yay.
Color me interested. Color me in multiple colors interested.
Yeah, psychedelic drugs kind of interested.
Very much.
But yeah, we can do. So yeah, the first part of the campaign was straight out of my head, and right now we are actually using an adventure path. We're on the second book.
Did we complete the first book?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was basically the resort was the first book.
So we completed it recently, fairly.
Yeah. The second book is basically the Eclipse Innovations arc, or like the finding out what Eclipse Innovations is all about and the curse is all about and so on. And then the third book is basically you getting rid of it.
So the three books are actually a sequel of each, a trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I had quite a bit more railroading than before, but yeah.
Normally, how much do you need to spend for each session in preparation?
I don't really know how much time it takes me. I usually, what I do is like whenever I go take the dogs out, I start like play. I pick a character when I go outside, and I can imagine the disturbance in anybody who would actually walk by me while I'm going out into the woods with the dogs, because I'm like doing the voice of the character and just going through like multiple conversations by myself.
Looking not scary at all to the locals.
Yeah, like I might sometimes like I will just try like
voices
going with like if I'm doing, for example, when I was doing the Benber, who was my best character so far. From my own perspective, I just think I nailed him, the voice and the way of acting, and I'm very sad that the stream has no audio. So that character was basically made like the first time I went outside, I was going through like, yeah,
I mean,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
and all like, how do I go with the mannerism of the character? Like I would be talking with my own voice and just doing like hand gestures and bobbing my head around, and the next time I go outside, then I would, instead of doing mannerism, I would start doing this. Yeah, I know. I know. How would how would you guys feel like? Or uh, the please, I cannot follow you away from here. I please I take my eyes for, or like, just imagine walking by someone who's doing that.
Yeah, they look. They people don't know what's going on, so they will think you're crazy.
Yeah. So I
Mm.
might go for just one character. Like I can
Some
easily
schizophrenia or
easily
whatever.
make like 5-6 trips with the dogs, which is gonna be a 2.5 hours just making up a character.
Why don't you train those characters at home? I guess you really don't care about the other people that might see you. I guess that's why you're so comfortable at doing it.
Uh, and the other reason is, if I do it at home, my kid is going to be asking me all the time, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And that will break up the, like, the
Focus.
state of mind
Yeah.
trying to be in the character. So
Okay.
that's why I take it outside.
We get a
Um,
little bit of private space in a public place. I get that. Yeah.
yeah,
A bit funny, but yeah, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm in the
And
woods,
so
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 it's,
your focus is mostly on the characters that you're going to have in the
yeah,
session.
yeah, mostly that, because I do the fight events. Basically, I do those with. I will just pick like, okay, what type of characters do I want in this fight? I want the Formians. Okay, I will check them out. Like, how many do I want to put in there? Do I have stronger versions of these? Can I just for or the swarm? I was like, okay, I'm gonna bring in some cannon fodder, and if you guys start taking too long, I will have this bigger one ready to just like force you away, making ending the fight and session, like having you actually move out.
Running off.
Yeah. And also for like, I will always have cannon fodder fights. That's like basically there to, you have to have something to eat up the resources of the players, basically, so that players will have this uh,
Warm up.
not a warm up, but the decisions that, how many resources can I use now, and how long will it take before we can actually rest to get our spell slots back, and do I will I have enough for a end game fight, like, yeah.
Yeah, normally indeed you're correct. I'm having that in consideration on the earlier fights, like trying to hold on to my higher level spells because I know when the boss comes that they will be of extreme importance.
Yeah.
So the problem is, from our perspective, I guess, or at least from me, is I'm not sure how much you have in store for us. So it's always a blind decision. Okay, should I
uh,
activate this now? Should I hold back? And then if we come across something that is already a little bit harder, then I'm like, is this the hardest that we're going to get this session, or is there still something bigger coming our way? That's the
and like harder point on making the fights is like how to make them like fights that make the players feel strong, but always have that like ready to bring in the threat of like they should be able to handle this, but there is always the possibility of that just TPK.
mm-hmm.
And like at least for I think like have at least one get out of jail free card if you are in a point that uh, it would be easy to explain why someone would come and help, or if you, or just like if you are in a place that nobody would, there would be no real way that somebody would come and help. Just deciding, do I let them TPK or do I actually try to help them out? And I'm really at the point that I'm uh, I might give you like guys like one more get out of jail free card before TPK, but yeah, it depends on the situation. Maybe not. Maybe it will happen.
You're
Maybe
done
not.
with us, I see.
No, I just want the threat to feel more real. Like
Yeah.
let you have that there can be a TPK. Like
When there is a sense of something to lose,
yeah,
it is more exciting game when you
yeah,
succeed.
yeah. And if your characters die, we can just like if one person like fully dies, then we can always give him another character. That's not a really problem in this kind of campaign that we are having because we are mercenaries, and there is like many points where you could find someone in a jail cell or at a
Yeah.
when you're leaving you might find a smuggler that smuggles you out, and then you pick him up to your group and whatever. So
So that's how we got Dragon in the beginning. We
yeah,
found them, and that's how we've lost players that discontinued to play.
yeah,
They died.
yeah,
The characters actually died.
yeah,
Uh, At least we think in one of the cases it died. I mean, we found the arm. That's all.
yeah. That character, I can tell you, this is not really a spoiler. He is alive,
Okay.
and you have seen him after he disappeared.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't recall that. It was hinted, but not explicit,
yeah.
I guess.
He was from the beginning a character that was supposed to go missing or die or whatever. Even as Fayed was playing him,
Hmm.
he was never supposed to be a full character
Full
in the
time.
team. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Okay.
And I'm
Hmm.
like, if there are people who would actually want like having a character come in and someone just playing him once and just giving them a grand like grand moment, like saving the party and giving his life for it or whatever, like we could have those sometimes. Maybe depends on if people want to just try out playing ttrpgs.
Yeah, that's a good way. I see.
Like I have seen even in Paizo's streams, they've had like these guest people who the players didn't know that they were there just for one session, and they just had this or one or two sessions, and they had this character be like, "Yay, we got a wizard in our group and all that, and then Dullahan just comes and takes his head basically, and when the Dullahan reaches the actual party from where the wizard was defending the town, he just throws the head of the wizard there, and yeah.
And then the players go like,
yeah. Like it was never first told that the Dullahan actually killed the wizard. It was just that the wizard uses like fireball right at his own feet, and then they cut back to the fight that the other party is having. So
yeah.
it was quite an effect. Checking out the stream of that. Oh, Gina going to fantasy grounds. Oh, so Gina, you have anything?
Huh?
You have any questions
Okay.
since you are thinking of your own campaign?
Yeah, we can get on that in a bit. Let's see. As a player from the receiving end, I felt that I had more freedom with, and it was somewhat more, I wouldn't say more so is probably the term, more so enjoyable when it was your own creation, because it felt like you had so much more wiggle room with putting up with our shit, I guess, than when you started using the books.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same? Like, did you feel limited at all with using the actual path?
That's not really limited in ways of like dealing with your shenanigans. It's more like I just didn't like. It's harder to make railroading without it looking like a railroad when there is an actual adventure path going on. Since I can railroad you so badly when I'm just coming up with things, like I only have an endpoint ready, so you can do whatever you want basically, and you will always end up in the same point. So, but in an adventure path, you basically have to do things and just incentivize your players to do them, or just make it really really hard for them not to do them. So that felt kind of hard in the, at least in the beginning. It was like, I don't really want to force you to do this, but I kind of have to if I want to go through with this.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a conflict in there, because from one side, I understand the that there is more impact on what we are doing as players if everything is out in the open. You know, there's no script that
Yeah.
we're following. And that is more interesting, perhaps, also for you, not just the players, because we know everything will have consequences and we might end up in a place that we don't ever imagine, either yourself. And there's a certain beauty to it, even though it might be harder on you. I understand that. But it can also be because then we reach the end of the adventure and it's like, well, that was a wild ride, you know, because
Yeah.
we didn't know what was going to happen and where we would end up.
Yeah. Yeah, and for this campaign, I actually didn't think I would be using any adventure books. But once I read this, like, what's it called in English? Like the back of the book, basically.
Blurb.
A cover?
Blurb. It's the British word for it, a blurb or
Blurb?
synopsis. Like that.
It's a,
Blurb.
Yeah. So
how do you spell it?
B. Blurb.
okay.
Blurb.
What is that? Is a letter?
Blurb.
That's why you,
BLURB.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's why you
Well,
started laughing. It's
Okay.
B. It starts laughing. I cannot
okay.
even
I
mimic.
read the blurb.
Blurb. That
Of this.
sounds
Or you can
something
just go for the
disgusting.
American word, the synopsis.
Yeah, that's the word.
Synopsis.
That's
Yeah,
the word I
synopsis. I
was
know
looking
that
for.
word. Yeah.
So yeah.
Blurb.
But you know, considering it's the English language, go for blurb.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I
I will be
defend the same
using it
about
from now on
Portuguese. If
because
people
that's
want
a
to
funny
learn
word.
Portuguese, they should learn Portuguese from Portugal before anything else. And I agree. I'm too used to the American. I want to correct that. I want to get British because English. So
But yeah,
not
the
not
blurb
American
or
English.
the synopsis that I read
Blurb.
from this, I was like, oh, this is so going to work with one of the characters the players are playing. So I was like, I have to do this, even though I don't really think I would want to, but this storyline and everything just fits so damn well.
Okay, thank you for not spoiling which of the three characters. It leaves me questioning if it's mine, if it's Gina's, or if it's Dragon's
Yeah.
character. I actually don't know. I see it. I can see it.
Like these
I'm
could
more
work.
inclined between Gina's and mine, to be quite honest, than Dragon's. I think there's a higher chance it is between Gina's character and mine because I don't know much about Dragon's
I feel
background.
like it might just be Dragon's character, to be fair, because our ones are a bit different, and he's got too much of a non-story.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much of a backstory. We found them. It was generated on the spot, right? Basically, by a
Yeah.
machine.
Which makes me want to ask: did you have to kind of nip and tuck? I would say, like literally take off story parts that you would already were planning to make this a bit adventurer path work.
Um, not much really of taking off things. Um, I had to move them further away, sure, and like change the. I'm going to have to change the enemies because you will be so much higher level than you would have been if going with the original idea. Um, but like this was just like I can move on with the invasion of uh, the Lashuntan planet, Castrovel.
Mm.
I can like I just have to keep track on how long have we been taking on this, so that I will have like a sense of what is going to be happening on Castrovel. Like after every session I have to be like, okay, we use this and this many days, and yeah, the situation would be going this. Okay, I have to keep tabs on what's happening elsewhere, maybe a little bit more than I thought I would be having to because of this adventure being put here. But otherwise I don't really think I cut that much out of the original plan to fit this in.
Did you have to? Did you have to, as a GM, make a rat steal my sword and then break it? Did you have to do that? Did you personally
The
have to do
I
that?
feel some saltiness, some sourness
there
in
No, I'm
this.
is
just asking. Did you have to? Was that a part of I need to nip this storyline in the bud? My sword was
I
cool, all right.
it was the idea was cool. It was just I would have had to redo the sword like totally. It was so
Yeah.
overpowered from what it had on it. It was really a thing that should not have been made in the beginning. So basically I destroyed because I fucked up making it.
Mm-hmm.
How much content that you've prepared, but we're no longer at a point where we can see that content because of the path we've taken?
Sorry, I'm in pain. Continue. It wasn't to your question.
That would be like, I can actually show you. There is a thing that I did. Where is it? Not that one. Okay, here. See this?
Mm-hmm.
This is all planned out when, like, I gave you the chance of going to fight for Gastrowell in the very beginning. I don't even remember if we was there yet. It might have been, yeah, we wasn't there yet. It was when there was still Jetrock and Mirsky who were playing. And you decided to go on the, let's go to the energy farm, basically, the zoo farm thing.
Yep.
And that I just, like, you went there, and after that you picked up another quest, and I just fully had, like, at that point I was like, yeah, the war has been going on for months now. There is no way I'm going to do this, because you were there was like evacuating from city to city to city to city, and like moving in caravans and all this stuff that should have been like at least 6-7 sessions. And I was like, okay, this is never gonna happen in this campaign.
I mean, you can still find ways to do that, right?
The planet is empty. Basically, there is only soldiers.
Everyone is dead now.
Look. There's still ways. There's still ways. You can have a dream. You can have
And you all just woke up.
some time traveling. You can have some time traveling happening. You know, there's options.
That's the worst storyline in the fucking world.
I know. I'm just saying there's ways to go back in time.
At least like 7 or 8 sessions I had to just delete after 2.
But there's wars that last a long time, so could it be that there's still like people in the planet, survivors and stuff like that, like resistant bubbles?
But would still be like, I have to completely
resistant puddles.
Make it.
No, I was trying to find the
So you said puddles.
No, I said bubbles.
Oh, okay. I thought you said puddles.
No.
Bubbles aren't even better, but
I wanted to say resistant
resistance groups.
Not resistant nodes. I don't know what to use. It's like concentration, little spots of resistance. Groups, small groups.
Yeah, and like
puddles, bubbles.
No, I never said puddles.
Yep.
Puddles is worse than bubbles.
Concentration of water. Just saying puddles.
Yeah,
I veto that? Can we call them resistant puddles from now on?
I agree.
Sure,
yes.
why not?
Yeah, I want this. For now on, if there's a resistance, puddles, please.
There's a puddle of resistance here.
For the record, I did not use that word. But sure, it's funny.
I will tell you if it's a
with
bottle
the
of
food.
gum or a bottle of oil. So how resistant is it
Bottle of
to
tar.
move through?
So,
like my soul.
What? So the fact that you saw that happening, like that you had prepared, I don't know how much time and effort preparing a part in the story that never ended up being branched into in our actions. Um, is that negative impact on your motivation or something like that? How did it affect moving forward your planning?
Again, you
Uh,
asshole.
What?
He's an asshole. He's eating in front of me and he knows I'm hungry.
Dragon.
You're fucking asshole, man.
Hey, I'm eating fries, but if you want,
I would
You can go to
say
Egypt. Oh,
That looks better
oh.
than what I'm gonna get.
homemade
Okay.
burger
Mm.
with
uh,
onions, cream cheese with mushrooms.
I don't know about the cream cheese. I'm not a fan of too much cream cheese in stuff.
Cooking mushroom in cream cheese, that's like
Yeah, but that's a
easy
sauce
mushroom
then. I would
sauce.
put
Yeah,
garlic. Oh, there's garlic in it. I'll allow.
there isn't, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
but so yeah, from that
Back to the
point
question.
on,
Yeah.
I just like that was the realization point that was like I shouldn't really make any like super specific uh, story beats. I should, and I moved much more to an encounter based planning. So I would have these encounters that I would want you guys to have, and how you move from one encounter to the next would be just that whatever they wish to do, I will just like somehow work this in there while they are doing their own thing, so that we will have this encounter with this character and go through this like actual story point while having these wild adventures to do whatever you guys want to do.
So there will always be a story that you want to tell, and that you are going to find ways to tell it based on our actions.
Yeah, yeah. I do have a story done basically,
Okay.
but how you are going to proceed through it, I have no idea how you're going to do it. That's up to you guys.
The end goal is there, the door that we need to cross or
Yeah,
arrive at.
yeah. Like I
Which road we take to arrive there,
yeah,
it's going to be a different trip,
yeah. Like I have
a
this
longer or
like
shorter.
yeah. I just have this like okay, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen. Where they happen, I don't really care. I will just put them when you are doing something that would like easily let this character be there or you going there and so on. Like there was no plan in the beginning to have the uh, uh now I'm losing the name of my own creation. uh your employer, like
Mordred,
yeah,
Mordred,
Mordray.
Mordred, Mordred or something. Mordred.
Mordray was
Mordred,
actually
yeah, there you
yeah,
go.
he was supposed to be
Or
like
fixer.
he was supposed to in the beginning be a bad guy, like super bad, and then I was like, yeah, but well, let's just change this. Like, yeah, you guys want to help out with the refugees, so let's make this character actually just want to also help, and let him be more like relatable to your group, and have him be a more of a at least I think he became a lot more relatable to the group.
Well, Sora definitely related.
And like the uh fleet general, fleet marshal.
Or am I confusing? Sorry. So it was
Okay,
not a
I
fair
feel
trip.
like you're gonna keep going there for a second. You're talking about people that I may have influence over, and that's why they were
No,
changed to become
no.
characters.
Like the moment I opened my mouth in stream with the fleet general, I did a complete 180 on him. He was
Hmm.
supposed to be that like super by the rules guy and doing everything, like not caring about the civilians that would be on the ship and so on. And I was like, he wouldn't give those civilians in the ship if he was like that. Like the sudden realization while opening my mouth, I was like, he wouldn't be doing this if he was like that. I have to completely change my character now.
I actually must say that was one of my favorite characters. I really enjoyed being in that ship as with Akur, for example. Like it felt, when we were doing a humanitarian action, I really enjoy that full sequence in there. I must say, from my as a player situation, like it made me think. I'm a Star Trek fan, you know this,
Yeah,
so it made me think of like some kind of Star Trek episode where you have the Federation coming and trying to do their best to help a planet, you know, and saving the population of it. You had certain types of episodes. You had certain episodes in the universe of Star Trek that were a little bit like that. So that was my vibe. That was my inspiration. So because I had that reference, I really enjoyed those moments going through the ship, seeing the misery but wanting to help and so on. Also, like not just Star Trek, but Battlestar Galactica as well as something like that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I like that the general was that caring, because indeed it is like what a character like a captain or a general in Starfleet supposedly in the ideology of Starfleet would be, or the one that was in charge of the main ship in the Battlestar Galactica. He also was very humanitarian. So from my side, I give that feedback that I really enjoy that. Um,
yeah,
So I enjoy the character that he was humanitarian for sure. I think you did a good call making him like that.
yeah. He was in the beginning. He was supposed to be like the civilians would have been just tucked somewhere in the ship, like the, just use that hole for yourselves. We have a military operation going on here, and you are just on the way. And he was supposed to be that kind of character, and then I was like,
Yeah, there might
that
be a 7.
nobody's
Yes,
going to
please.
relate to this.
I think
Like
the drink in the
nobody's gonna
bag.
like this character.
Thank you.
I actually want this character to be kind of liked, and for you to have a reason to come back here to help or to do something like that and so on. And
To do something.
yeah, you
I, I
do things.
felt I felt I felt more I felt more motivated. My character felt more motivated. I felt more immersed in the story in that situation as well. I felt more. I really want to do something. Somehow that situation was, from all of the situations that I can remember right now, is the one that I felt the strongest immersion. Like the heaviness, walking through the ship, having the description that you gave about how the people were as the corridors were inside the ship, and that really created a really vivid image in my head. So I really enjoy that. Please more.
Yeah.
if you can bring those emotions at least.
But wasn't that part of your own story, that one? The Admiral. He was a character you created.
Yeah, he was really supposed to, in the beginning he was really supposed to like force you go back down to the grounds, which you know we did yeah, we did do the operation still on the grounds, yeah. uh, but it was much more of a would you please go? We don't have manpower to actually detach there to send the detachment, and that was from the beginning. But he was he was actually blocked from the original storyline that I was thinking of going with you going to the war on Castrowell. Like he was supposed to be the leader of this uh, evacuation and stuff like that. And yeah, he was supposed to be the contact point on there. Instead, he became a fleet marshal. Instead of being just a like captain of a fort or something like that. So he got quite an promotion there.
What type of what session for you, for example, would you say that were the most interesting or fun for you?
I will still say that the Benburn was the most fun I've had. Like, I really, really enjoyed that character, and I'm kind of sad I killed him off. Like, he was so fun. And then when Gina was the only one who was like, guys, this shopkeeper has the same last name. Don't you get it? And the shopkeeper has the same colors and everything, and he's a gnome too.
Yep.
And everybody else is like, yeah, he's a shopkeeper, whatever.
Yeah, the problem is I was not making notes and my memory is not that great sometimes. I was never good with names. So on that sense, thank you, Gina, for pointing out things that I would miss otherwise, which is a shame. I feel sad about that as a player, to be honest, because I feel
I've
that
missed a lot, by the way.
I know I
So
do,
much.
and that's what I was going to say. I feel kind of shame and sad that I understand that you're putting like sliding in certain Easter eggs, like you said, like the character from Fiat. We already came across with it apparently,
Yeah.
And we miss out, and those are the things that make it fun for everybody if we would see it, and it's such a pain for you and for me to learn that I missed out, and that only I can only blame myself on it, to be honest.
And it took you to a point that I had to like point out why you had scales coming and why there was a claw when you were enraged and so on.
Yeah, true. The creature in my eye.
Yeah.
Yes.
That you decided to save his soul, so now the soul comes out when need be.
I see it as a superpower.
The thing about
No,
these kinds of games is that you don't have a second playthrough, so
True.
you're going to miss stuff.
Yeah, that is true.
would it be cool to have some kind of documentation of that so that at least it's somewhere documented, like when we finish the session, that we can go back and like look at it?
You mean like the streams?
No. The streams is what we actually did. I'm
Yeah,
talking
but you
about,
can watch it again to find out what you've missed.
well, not entirely, because
So
they're
you want
like,
somebody to tell you what you've missed on a spreadsheet.
no, look, whatever method, but what I'm saying
No.
is, what I'm saying is, for example, we can have a session like now, right?
Yeah.
After we finish the story, in which Cthulhu can spill all the beans
Oh
about
yeah.
things that he said or prepared, written down, that we didn't do because we made a different decision.
Yeah, I do have like some notes, not everything, of course, but I do have some. And I was going to do exactly that. I was going to, once this is done, I'm going to have like this spell it all out. Or if a character dies, I will just tell what was going to be for that character to be
Yeah.
happening.
Okay. And I think that's important, at least for me as a player, because I don't have proper experience playing such type of games before. Tabletop Dungeon and Dragon style of game. Um, so with that in mind, I think it's fun to learn what you prepared, which is at least honoring a little bit of the work that you placed, honoring a little bit the work that you placed in preparing those possible roads, you know, and at the same time, it is kind of, I think, a teaching moment for me as a player to pay more attention to those little things so that the next time comes around and you're doing something similar with a different story, that we are evolving ourselves as players, not just the characters evolving, but ourselves and our experience
Yeah,
and the things that we're paying attention to and making notes of, because I think that's really, really important, especially when our sessions are weeks apart or sometimes
yeah,
even more than a month.
yeah. Yeah, that's something I try to work on to actually make these like at least once a month thing.
No, it was not a
It's
critic. I'm just saying that
no,
for my
it's
head,
just
for
more
my head,
cohesive for players to
I,
play when there is like
I
one or two
I don't
times a
know if you
month.
had the same issue with watching series. You know, like there's a season, the season stops, then you need to wait for the next episode much longer. It's not the next weekend, you know. And then by the time you going to watch again new episodes, you already kind of forgot what you watched before. You need to find some kind of summary of it to with all the important points highlighted, so that you back on track in your
I don't
mindset.
have that issue
I
at
know you
all.
don't have
My
that
memory's
issue.
pretty good.
I have that issue a lot,
Uh,
for example, with
my
series and
my
anime. Yeah.
my issue is that I can't rewatch things.
You can't watch things.
Rewatch.
Rewatch
Rewatch. Okay.
like uh I like of course there are some things that I just want to rewatch even though I completely remember them, like Lord of the Rings or the Starship Troopers series
Or every DVD movie that you've ever bought.
not really all of them, but
Mm.
I could like realistically I could rewatch Leon like every second day and I would enjoy it each and every time as much as I did the last time.
Look, if I
Even
was going to
though I
watch now,
remember I would like after two watches, I would remember all the conversations by hand. Like I have watched the uh, Moomintrollen or Moomindale's tales. I watched them as a kid when I was every time I was sick, and that's like 25 years ago that I have last watched them. And I can still put them on mute and go through like over 30 episodes, and I will remember every word by heart of how the conversations go in that series.
I don't have that capacity, unfortunately. I know that there has been series that I've watched before, and then like 10 years later, I would watch them again, and I would not remember all the episodes of it.
I can
You
tell
can
you,
make fun of that,
I
but
would be so happy to be able to do that.
I remember one from Gene Roddenberry, Andromeda, and then when I watched it the second time, like 50% of the episodes I did not remember already. So I was fully enjoying them. I mean, some things I was like, oh yeah, I recognize this scene, But like the full, I was not knowing what to expect next because I really didn't remember. So that's the thing. I mean, certain series stay more. I think depends also on how you consume. If you binge watch it, it stays less retained in your memory. Also, if you're not sleeping well in those time periods, I feel that.
Do you know what I wish I could forget? The Witcher. I genuinely wish I could forget The Witcher.
I'm not. You mean the one on Netflix?
Yeah.
I wish I could
I,
forget the
I
3
don't need to forget it
episodes I
because I tried to
watched
watch
of
it 3 times
Lord
and
of
I
the
had to give up.
Rings,
I
Rings of
couldn't.
Power.
Sorry, say that again, Couture?
I wish I could forget the Rings of Power series ever happening.
I made sure I
Yeah.
didn't watch it. Yeah, I made sure I
I
didn't watch.
I
Oh,
watched
I
the
watched half a
I
season.
isn't
I
that the one that follow up on Lord of the
I
Rings in
told you it would
Amazon?
be terrible. I told you. I
I
made it
never
very clear.
I
I never
I
managed.
wanted to give it a chance, even though I knew the story would be effed up.
Yeah.
Like I was like, as long as they keep the main points there, and the characters are at least somewhat what they should be, I'm going to watch this.
I think there's a movie I would like to forget that I watched, and it's one that I felt so ripped off because when I was a teenager, I was a huge, and I mean huge, Street Fighter 2 fan. The game was super popular. So this is 90s, right?
I
And
guess I
the
know the
movie came
movie.
out, Street Fighter, and I went to watch it. I was like, yes, I know all the characters' backstory. I know how all of the characters finished the game, and I really want to see this on the cinema. And it was such a travesty of the characters, all of them. The backstories of each one were like, I don't know what
Reason why I want to
words.
stop watching, like the only reason I dislike The Witcher, and it's not about the girl power, whatever. It's what they did to Eskel. I didn't even believe it was until Dragon was like, "No, that's Eskel right there," and I was like, "You're kidding me! You're lying to me." No, it was what they did to that character. I can't. From the whole series, I can't.
I mean,
He's the one of my top favorites in the Witcher series
Mm-hmm.
because of how complex his character is and how closely related it is to like being the moral concept of what Geralt's like upbringing is. He's kind of like almost a moral compass, and he's kind of been through what Geralt's been through, but at the worst end of the spectrum. And they completely ruined, like they killed the character off in the
uh,
worst ways that
uh,
you just wouldn't believe
what
that
And
he
I
would do.
and here's
let
the
me
thing, people back then would argue, oh, but it's because it's a video game, it doesn't translate well into a
It's through the
movie
books as well,
story.
so
But here's the thing, even for Street Fighter, right, it's a fighting game which you finish
I
the game
watched
with
Mortal
different
Kombat and I was
characters.
fine
And
with it.
when
It was a
and
terrible movie.
well, Mortal Kombat was multiple times better than the Street Fighter back in the 90s. The first Mortal Kombat versus the first Street Fighter game, full movie. I mean, a live action movie, because it was proven that it works. Because each character has its backstory, and you learn a little bit about it when you finish the game with that set character, right? And you will have multiple characters in there, and some stories do
It's like
come across.
Tekken as well. Yeah.
I don't know tech. I know the game. I didn't know the character story. So
You
I know.
play
I
the
know the Yakuza kind of thing going on with the main characters, but and there's like multiple generations of them, and they at war. Even like they don't have a good relationship with each other, and that's as far as I know.
for going
Like the
back to that,
grandfather and the grandson
yeah,
don't
yeah,
get along well and stuff like that.
they kill each other off multiple times, or try to kill each other off, and then they
yeah,
come
and then
back.
Jin comes in with wings. He's a devil spawn.
I need to get more into
Why
that.
is
I
he?
need, but
The devil
here's the
gene
thing.
was always with the
Oh,
family.
the ultimate glow up. Fat Bob became Skinny Bob.
I know this happening on the video game because a new version of that character was like super thin. He went
No,
on a diet,
no,
like
his
regiment.
actual name is Skinny Bob.
His name is Skinny Bob.
Okay, they
They
change him.
even
Okay,
point out the fact
on the name.
this is Bob, but he's skinny.
Done.
But here's the thing: the problem is there was zero attempt to respect. So I felt appalled. How is it possible they got the rights to make a movie about a video game and they're getting 0 point
But
something percent right about the actual characters? Because
when that movie came out, it was around the period of time where like you had like Jackie Chan movies where it was all the laugh and stuff like that. So they tried to like kind of put it in
No,
with those
my
kind of movies,
perspective,
man.
my perspective in there was they hired Jean-Claude Van Damme, so immediately the full movie was centralized around him because that guy has quite the ego.
Yeah, he actually did not go to the Predator movie. He was supposed to be cast as the Predator, but he declined because his face would not be shown as his own face.
Dude, he's not okay. You have to understand, actors are their faces. Let's be real.
No, it's like the
In that
dude,
time period, actors are their
the
faces.
dude has complexion issues because he's even super tiny, but they're always trying to make him look like he's tall, but he's
Oh,
actually he's
ever
very, very
watched an
short.
Avengers movie?
He's very, very short guy.
Ever watched an Avengers movie? Iron
And
Man.
look,
Guy's
and
short.
look,
They
as
make
a
him
kid,
tall.
as a teenager, even I was rolling my eyes at every single movie with Van Damme because it was always the same thing. Focus about the guy. Then at the last scene of the movie, when the movie is about to finish, he's taking a beating, and then out of nowhere, he becomes super powerful, kicks it all back, and
A
then
Goku
at some
moment.
point he will have to do a full spread of his legs for no reason, just to show off that he can do it. And he wins the fight and he gets the girl and the movie is over. And it was
Ever
like,
heard of John Wayne? There's so many people that are exactly like that during that time period. They were not great. They were
look,
Bruce Willis. Bruce
look,
Willis is
Dalsim,
whoa, he's
Dalsim, which was my favorite character back then at Street Fighter when the movie came out. It was the very first character I picked up on the game. Dalsim, he has a very humanitarian story. I'm not sure if that's the correct word, but he has a very sensible, like emotional story, right? He comes from India. He comes from a very poor village in India where people are dying of hunger. He goes out into the world, into this tournament with his yoga power, with his yoga skills, carrying a necklace with the
sorry, his
skulls,
yoga skills.
his yoga skills.
His
He
yoga
ca-
skills. Is anybody else finding an issue with this? Yoga.
Yeah,
yeah,
Skills.
he
Yoga
uses
fighting.
yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, he uses yoga as a fighting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is correct. That's what he does on the game. Um, and then he carries like he
You want
has
me
a
to take this
necklace.
seriously?
I do. He
When
carries
he
the necklace.
downward dogs and not
Look,
someone else.
look, look. He carries on his
my
neck
my.
a necklace with little skulls, and the skulls are from the children that died from hunger in his village, as a reminder of what he's fighting for.
Sorry, how many skulls are on this necklace then?
4 or 5.
Oh, so only 4 or 5 children have died in his. How big is his village?
I don't know. I don't have that detail. It's a small village. It's a poor village. He's there to make money. He's trying to bring back to the village money that make life better for his
And his
community.
only opportunity is to downward dog in a fighting competition.
Downward dog. You're talking about the yoga position.
Yeah, that's a yoga position.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
just
and
Basically, he would be just
his
showing
appearance
them
on the
his asshole.
movie, his appearance of the movie,
Uh-huh.
he was some kind of
wondering why it didn't translate.
No. Look, there was zero attempt in this movie. All he showed up it was a short moment in which he was some white coat scientist in a lab, which created Blanca, which was a mutant. Again, which is not the story of Blanca. Blanca was the only survivor of a plane crash in Brazil, also not in the movie. And he was raised by wild beasts, and that's why he's a little bit wild. He was raised in the Amazon with the creatures on his own, without other humans. So that's why he
Thank you
is
for the rant.
animal-like, right?
Okay. In the
So
90s, wearing children's skulls is not going to translate. It's just not going to be during the 90s. That was
But-
pre-Watershed, you know.
in the 90s, after that movie, there was other movie created, and this instead was an animated movie, and that one
Animation
respected the
can take liberties
characters.
where live action doesn't.
But it showed that
I
the story
know
does
some of
translate
the
into a storytelling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Into a
but it's an
cinema,
animation.
not a
and you've
game.
got totally different issues there. Live
Well, it's
action and stuff like that, they have to reach a certain thing. And this is
I
like Watershed times.
yeah, but I think that the point
Mm-mm.
is people say, oh, it doesn't translate, but I think the point is there was no investment because whoever was buying the rights, they never even cared about. They were just preying on the title to get viewers, and that's it, right? And that's
Uh-huh,
why
probably.
it was always so bad. The same thing it happened, for example, with anime being translated into live action. It also went very wrong for a long time until more recently, where it's been proved no, it actually works if you
Battle
actually
Royale was
respect.
okay.
I love the one on Netflix about One Piece.
Still haven't watched it.
I highly
It's got
recommend
good
it.
action. The story is cringy because Luffy's still very young. It's very cringy. But they did their own the guy who plays Sanji did his own stunts. And it's the same with the other guy, I think, with the sword. He's like he did his stunts as well. So you can see the action is very clean. But again, I don't know how they're going to go further
But even the
because
expressions and the visuals, I think it was really well implemented. Apart, it has all kinds of distortions and superpowers and whatever, you know.
Oh yeah.
I
they're
think
a bit.
they
What I
felt.
hear something fun.
I fully enjoyed it. I mean, I
Some
will admit that I did not watch the anime before because it didn't attract me, the anime. Then I gave it a shot with the live action, and I felt, you know what, this is quite enjoyable. And I see from the reactions that this is actually respecting the anime because they actually hired the guy responsible for the anime and he had saying of what was happening in the series.
Yeah.
So
I think there might be some
immediately,
issues with him though now.
It came to my
I think
mind from you saying about the stunts that I just learned. Everybody knows how Viggo Mortensen broke his toe, but did you actually know that when the Uruk-hai is throwing the knife at him, he is supposed to throw it like way above his head, and the shot would be cut so that the dagger goes away. He actually, by mistake, threw it straight at Viggo's head, and Viggo actually parried it with his sword.
Jeez. Hmm. That Sanji guy, he's a black belt in I think judo and kickboxing.
But yeah, like that's some reflexes.
Yeah.
Like that's supposed to go over my head. No worries. Oh shit! It's coming to my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, for like the Rings of Power, if Christopher Tolkien was alive, that travesty would have never ever happened. The current Tolkiens just don't care.
He's a bit like him selling Nimoy's his face, who was what's his name, Spock. I feel a bit weird. I don't know how I feel about it
For
too
CGI,
much.
you mean?
Yeah, they say, oh, we're part of this foundation, and he would have won. You don't know.
Leonard Nimoy, even though he had Spock as one of them, and he was one of the most iconic characters in the full franchise, he always hated this. He was vocal about it. He didn't like that this was the highlight of his career, that people only remember him because of Spock. He always had a gripe with this. He never really was that much into the Star Trek fans either. Unlike Scotty loved the Star Trek fans. Bless his soul. That dude was awesome. You really see that he was, or he's a very good actor outside of the screen, because he generally convinced me that he was really in contact and connection with the fans of his performance in Star Trek.
I can already tell you at what point, like, there is like just one thing that would have Christopher say no to Amazon project. The thing that they have during the second and during the third, the names are at the same time. That would have already been like, okay, you're not even trying. Because for the dwarves in Lord of the Rings universe, there is only ever one dwarf called Durin. Once the Durin dies, they elect the next Durin who's going to take his place and be the king. And his name will be changed to the Durin and the number after who was died. There is never two Durins at once. Like, that's already like, you don't
It's
even
like
care about
it's like
lore.
a pope. Yeah.
And like Galadriel being like, I was in this war that happened with the elves. Fuck, you weren't. You were still on your way there, and the other elves had already killed the ship makers and taken their ships to get to the Middle Earth. And you had to go through the north to get to the Middle Earth. Like, you never went with ships, you idiots. So yeah, I love that series. I love to hate idiots.
Coming back to the Seekers of the Past story.
We have
trying
now
to bring
ranted about people destroying lore.
So out of curiosity, trying to still talk about cinema, but bringing a little bit back to our game. From all, I mean, we already expressed that from the player side, but I would like from the GM side as well. From the story so far, what 5 minutes animation would you like to have from what we did from beginning until now? What 5 minutes would you actually like to have animated from what we did so far?
I have.
Wait, who's animating it first, and then
I'm
I'll let you.
no. Like fun made. Like
if you,
no,
whoever's animating
not me animating, but I'm just saying, like, if you could have like a nice animation, a fun animation
I'll
of it,
just say immortalize.
cartoonish,
You don't need to necessarily have.
cartoonish.
Okay, all right. Animate it.
I mean, I say this because I see, for example, from Minecraft, I see a lot of stuff, right? And the fans sometimes create clips of animations based on certain scenes. So because they had fun with that scene and they just decided to make an animation out of it. So I'm just saying, if you could have, if a fan would create something from what we did until now as like a small 3 to 5 minute video, What scene would you choose?
Yeah, so I would actually choose something that I would guess none of you would choose. I would choose when the dwarf dies. Like that is
I
the
would. I was
time,
gonna say I would choose that too, just so you can get Sora's face of like,
because
what the fuck?
that would be so awesome. Like there is two people trying to be like, no, we
After you.
want to be the rear guard.
After
Go,
you.
and the dwarf
I
is
would.
like, I am
I
the
feel we've
strongest
been
here.
targeted, V.
I am the
Well,
strongest here.
it was
I will
dumb
take
because
the rear
I'm
guard.
telling you to stop it. He's telling you to stop it, and that's in not so many words. The GM's telling you, no, she's pulling up the vanguard, like she's pulling up the back, and Sora's in front, and I'm like, I'm zooming. Let's go. I'm turning around and I'm just shouting at you guys. Just move it. No,
I didn't want her to die.
It
That's why I was trying to
oh,
fight
you
her.
didn't
was
want
not
her to
supposed to
die,
die.
but you caused her death.
That's the irony, right?
It's not irony because we were telling you.
Because it would be so fun, this scene, like have her be like, I will be the rear guard. I'm the most elder soldier here, and the like she has the best gear and everything, and you guys are like, no, you go first, you go first, and then
I wasn't saying you go first. I
You
was
weren't,
pulling
you
her. I
keep
was heading
saying you
there, just
wasn't.
pulling her.
Yeah,
You
you're
were
like,
part of
I
whatever
didn't
you
want
two
her
were
to
on
stay.
saying.
I was
Exactly.
ahead of her.
I didn't want to abandon her either.
Okay, so
she was
V
never
saying
going to be abandoned.
it's
She
all
only
Haku's
told
fault.
you
That's
to
what
run
V's saying.
ahead so that
No, I'm saying I
there
didn't
is
want to.
something.
No, I say I'm feeling the same way as V.
Yeah.
We were trying to flee, but we wanted her to flee with us. We did not want to flee and losing track of her.
Yeah.
She said
So
she was pulling up
this
the rear.
like having this like she was basically like she will run right after you so that she will have this like buffer zone to you basically, and then you guys are like, no, we are going together, and she keeps on telling you. I can just imagine this being animated right now. Then this big swarm creature just like stomps in from the sky, and Sora at that point casts the smoke screen basically. You guys draw back from the smoke screen, and after I think, yeah, Hakur went back to try and get her out, and it's just this like seeing this creature like impale the dwarf and to throw it to your feet, like, oh.
Yeah, that was nasty.
You could just be like, then we'll both look at each other and then look at the rest of the party and be like, what happened? What? The worst thing is
no. The video was just the video was just finished with the two of us saying, "Not our fault."
Wasn't me.
Not us.
To be fair, I think she was like being
You can't
particularly idiotic because the GM decided to just
see,
in spite of us.
I five, Dragon. I five. I have you as well there.
Yes.
You're like, we don't accept this turn of events. No, it's only what we say it was. That's not how this works.
She was not like. Look, we didn't want. We understood that she was important to keep in the party. We didn't want to lose track because we were afraid that if we would left her behind, she would become a martyr. And then Cthulhu just pulls that on us.
You didn't even give her martyrdom right now. You just gave her some dumb death.
She basically killed herself out of pride.
Or you guys could just accept you fucked up. That's all.
We did not.
I did not.
The fight continues.
We let the audience decide. We let the audience decide.
Considering this is how we're going, let's play a game, all right? We all have everybody, and GM can play this one as well. All right, okay. So we all remember our characters. We can all go around and ask questions. Like, you see how it's like somebody drinks or whatever, but instead of somebody drinking, somebody will say the person's name that they think. So let's go. Who's the most? Let me
That's
give an
terrible.
example. Here would
I'm
be,
already losing this.
for example, it would be who's the most. I'm trying to say. Sexually proactive, I think, is the term. It would be,
Sora.
in my opinion, Sora. You see,
Yeah.
and
That
then you
is
guys
not
would say,
requiring a good memory to remember because it is. Well, the other ones never had any action, as far as I remember, and you had more than one. So that's not a difficult one.
yeah, do you get it? So somebody can say
Yeah.
a question then, and then
Yeah.
everybody will input and say. So if I was to go real question here, the most chaotic of the group.
Most chaotic of the group. The most
Yeah,
chaotic would
the
Gertrog.
have
most
died.
chaotic
Gertrog.
of the group.
Gertrog.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jedrock.
Jetrock.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jedrock. Yep, Jedrock. Did it feel good killing him?
Not for me.
No, not you. I'm talking about the GM.
I know. The GM is the one that killed him, but I didn't felt good about it actually.
Oh, I was going
I
to kill him
didn't-
for stealing my sword. I was already prepared.
I didn't
I mean,
really want, like, I liked the character the way he was portrayed. The thing is, I just didn't want him to be the fallback for all electronics to the group anymore. Like I just wanted the group to have more of the current players have to do what has to be done, and not to be like, okay, this player doesn't play anymore, but he has like super way better stats than anybody else in this thing, so he will do it for them, and that just feels like taking
well,
the agency away from the players. So that's why I basically killed him.
to be
So
honest, that's not
if I
how.
miss,
Go on, Gina.
no, I was just going to say, if I miss a couple of weeks, are you going to kill me off because I can convince anybody? Is that what's
No,
going to happen?
no, only if
Okay.
you like completely decided to just stop playing.
Okay, but you will kill me off if I'm the diplomat, right? If I don't.
Well, to be honest, I never really thought that Jetrock was our safeguard. I always thought it was. Now I'm having a blank with the name again, for whatever stupid reason.
Atlas?
Atlas.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the fallback on anything in computers. Like
Okay.
he could roll a 2 and he was still like 25.
That's why you
That's
also
the
that's why
point
you
when
also
a
got rid of
character's made like
the
that.
other witch warper because she was way too strong in our team.
No, that was actually
That wasn't a witch warper. That was a technomancer.
yeah.
Technomancer,
And
that's it. Yeah.
she is also not like that's
I remember she was quite strong when she was introduced.
yeah, but the thing is, like, she is currently part of Lucy.
Yeah, which you've destroyed the storyline because of Jedrock not being there.
Yeah, that was basically I had to nip parts of it. She was from the beginning meant to die, and it was meant to be revealed that she's actually an earlier version of Lucy, and she opens up some data points from Lucy so that people can uh, further on that storyline. That was the point of her. She was never supposed to survive more than like just a few sessions with you guys.
Okay. One character that I would find that it would be humoristic to have. So you said this a moment, like, and you find that it was a humor because you both consider that she died because of V and Akur, but a
You and
humorous.
Haku, yeah, totally.
Uh, um, and one that I find funny is the other one living inside our ship
Gingu.
tunnels.
Gingu.
Yes, I find that character amusing. I think he's like a comic relief if we would have animations of him showing up and having a proper voice for him as well.
He would
You know?
definitely be the Scratchy from Ice Age. to this series.
Yeah, he's Gun Gingu. That's all I remember him as. Gun Gingu.
Like super wanting to be trigger happy, and that's trying to hold them back. That would
whole
be a
point
funny
of the
scene for me.
race, even in the like Starfinder book, the whole point of his race is that they want to be helpful, but they are very bad at it.
Minions.
Yeah. With 6 arms and furry and cute.
So minions, yeah.
And like even in the Starfinder streams, that there is actually like the design people there. Everybody's like, we love that there is this race, but whenever they hear this race being played or being in a session, they're always like, what are they going to fuck up this time?
But
Is
they're
it a
not
playable
hated.
race?
Hmm?
Can you actually play as them?
Yeah, you can play them.
Okay.
There is a stat block for them.
Okay.
But if it helps me, you fuck up enough that you don't need to play their race.
They have a race trait called hyperactive, which basically means that they are ADHD. Like the worst case ADHD you can imagine.
I think any player taking that as a character would be hated by the rest of the party.
No, actually,
because it would be a constant trolling.
Actually, people love them because they're. If you play them well, you can be such a comic relief to the whole campaign. Like, it doesn't have to be like annoying messing up, but just doing like always like small mess ups.
You need to have a good sense of humor to play that character, I think.
Yeah, like having this like listen to half of the story that anybody tells you and just like make up your mind of the rest that you didn't listen to is basically their whole sketch. Oh, I can see a bestiary there.
Yeah, it's Pathfinder's bestiary, number 2.
I only have the first bestiary.
Is that book about the creatures?
Bestiary.
The characters?
Yes.
You like to have that type of collection, don't you? Like the character drawings from multiple games that you play.
It also has the stats of all the characters and stuff like that.
This is the first bestiary that I have.
I was saying that because I remember a few days ago you were talking about the another book that you bought for Minecraft with the art of the characters.
Yeah, I did.
Show me.
Mob Encyclopedia.
The issue I have with such books, and I don't want to be raining on it, is like
No,
because
don't. You don't rain on my parade.
Yeah, so it looks amazing. I really like it, but the thing is, when it's a game that is finished, right, then it makes sense to me. But if it's a game that is constantly being added content to, it feels that within 2 years the book is not including the full game anymore. You know what I mean?
Showing off feet there.
This is my favorite monster in the first bestiary. You can actually so easily use them as an NPC and still like have the whole sketch of the monster. It's called Phistophiles. And it is basically a devil that makes contracts with people.
That's what I like about these, is that I looked under devil and I didn't just get one, like Thiefling or with or without horns. You get a whole plethora of devil incarnations of different types.
So it feels deeper. That's nice.
Like golems, for example. You have like this one here, which is a carrion golem.
I want to see the book.
Yeah, that's a golem.
That's a golem. It looks more like looks more like what's the name?
But that one,
gargoyle. It looks like really a gargoyle to me. The other one.
That's a glass golem.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I always thought golems were a little bit more less organic.
No, I think golem is a term used as something without a mind.
Golem, if you go by definition, is just a creation given life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I see them, or at least that's why I made that association, because whenever I
So
saw it being depicted, it was made of rock
yeah,
or other materials, not
so
not,
Frankenstein's
not
monster is a golem.
okay.
Yeah.
There's an intellect devourer, guys. We all know what they. Oh, sorry, two of us know what they are.
Sorry.
There's an intellect devourer dragon right there, right there,
Mm-hmm.
right there.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
There's a hound. Wait, what else could we find? These are different stuff. What do you prefer? The fact that you know Starfinder, it's in the future, right?
Yeah.
How are you finding that compared? Oh my god, he looks so cool. Silly old man.
Jeez.
So cool looking.
Not to me, but okay. You have your taste. You're going to complete the question?
Bog mummy. Yeah. Do you prefer? Well, not prefer. It's kind of weird. Do you like the fact that you've been playing Starfinder rather than like a more of an ancient style of RPG or role playing game, like Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons,
Uh,
the
it's
universe that's
refreshing.
Starfinder?
It's refreshing. I was really torn about in the beginning that if I would make it only like you guys being on a single planet, or would we have planetary travel as we do? That was like one of the things that I had to really think about in the beginning that wouldn't have happened with Pathfinder, of course. Um,
Why did you have to make that decision?
it's just that when you have planetary travel, you have to give, uh, basically, you have to give the players a ship. And with that ship, they can move from location to location on planets faster and easier, and they don't really have to do traveling by land that much if you don't figure out a way. Like you can't go into a dense forest with your ship, of course, and stuff like that, but you can go way closer to it with that and so on. Like the method of travel was there to consider in the Starfinder. um I did want.
But so you're saying that it was an option that you would never get a ship and you would never leave the planet.
Yeah.
But okay, it feels more of a science fiction. The fact that you are able to travel because the Pathfinder itself, the Starfinder, sorry, not Pathfinder, the Starfinder itself is based on that premise, right? So I personally am glad that you decided to allow for the planetary travel because that for me is way more immersive than feeling bounded.
Yeah. But even in Starfinder, there is like low tech planets and high magic low tech and high tech low magic planets. Like there is all kinds of stuff that you can mess around with to make it still
Hmm.
be sci-fi and still be locked in one planet.
Yeah, but then you might as well play Pathfinder or something else that doesn't have that sci-fi component because you're not really fully exploring it. So the fact that you're using uh, uh, Starfinder, it for me, I would never. I'm just saying I'm surprised with that answer that you were just sharing. because would never imagine that you would even consider such a thing, that we would not have multiple planets that we could go to, or go to into orbit of a planet, or something like that.
The
That we would be able to be in space, because there's so much on the skills and stuff like that that are taking advantage of that as well, right? That they are having that as a platform.
yeah, the problem with that was in the beginning that how cohesive of a story can I make with you being able to just travel wherever you want and not locking you in place. That was basically like the most uh, deciding point. Like, can I make it cohesive and let you travel wherever you want, or do I have to lock you on a planet and have like maybe travel with shuttles between planets and not giving you your own ship?
Okay, so what made you made the decision that you were okay with allowing us to travel with the spaceship?
It was pretty much the thing that I didn't want some of. For example, I didn't want more Gray's company, or well, that was like I came up with the name on the spot, but who became more Gray. I didn't want him to be on like like walking distance from you always. I wanted him to be someone who's like far away from you, but that you can still reach if you use your time to meet him. That was a one point. I didn't want him to be like hands-on person, basically. So that kind of went with the yeah, let them be mercenaries, let them do whatever they want. I will just trickle the story in and have you do your mercenary jobs, and then like have the Sora's crush uh, be
Still haven't
collecting
allowed me to do
things.
anything with that.
I actually had a thing for this session that was supposed to be, but yeah, it's gonna happen. No, I just figured out how I will put him into this adventure path. So that's why you haven't really been able to contact even with the dreams with him, because there was no cohesive way to put him in the adventure path at the time. But now there is a way, because you are much closer to some of the events, that it makes
So
sense.
that's a thing, right? Because now you're using a book, so the book is carrying some of the workload away, I guess, because you don't need to come up with the full story. But could like, is that a valid method of operating? Like having high level, so high level, I mean not very detailed, um, so very generic kind of ideas of what's going on each part of the universe. So being a kind of an open world game, well, open universe game, and we just decide where to go. And based on where we are going, from what you can understand, then you spend more of your time and thought into developing what's going on that part of the universe, because that's more becoming more likely that you need to bring that information in. But overall, having an overall idea of what races exist, what's their status politically, what planets, what dramas, what conflicts, etc.
Uh,
And then based on where we decide to go, then you start putting more as we travel there. By the next week, then you already develop the story for that. Is
yeah,
that a valid way of operating for a GM? I'm not saying that you did it. I'm just also asking if I wanted to be a GM myself. Is that a valid way of operating?
there it is, Some it it just means if you are going to do it that way, you have to be good at improvising at the spot. Uh, that's like the main thing, and
Well, I would say that's exactly the opposite, right? Because uh, because I don't want to improvise since that's a weakness. If I already have a little bit of notes on a high level saying these are the races that exist on this part of the universe, and then based on when they decide to go, they will arrive there by next session, which
yeah,
gives me that many weeks between the sessions until the next session comes that I already prepared what's happening in that
yeah.
universe in greater detail, you know?
I can already tell you, like, you went to a goblin rock, you destroyed like everything except the last fight by just getting that one goblin inside your ship and wearing his flesh as a fucking disguise.
I did not such thing. Pointing at the others there.
Like that, like I had this like, okay, they are going to go there, do this, do this. You have to get things from these guys and these guys, and then you just waltz in with a freaking goblin suit and uh, basically jump the guys, and yeah.
I mean, but that's just changing on how we defeat the area, right? It doesn't change the story of the area.
Yeah, it doesn't change the story of the area, but you have to be like really quick on how am I going to let them do this if you don't have like specific plans to do
And that,
stuff.
and that's where you're then becoming also depending on luck yourself, which is forcing us to roll something and crossing your fingers that we don't roll at 20.
Uh, yeah, yeah, and like you have to be like super careful on how bad bad rolls are going to affect the idea that you are going with. Like how much information are you able to give someone who just rolls a freaking one when the DC you set would be like 25 to get any meaningful information, and then they roll a 1 to 5 and you're like
Yeah, that's a good situation. Explain a little bit in more detail in there. So, what's the thing, right? So if you leave us hanging without the information because we roll back, that also represents a problem for you, right?
yeah, that's like at that point I will just have to like uh weave in a name or a type of place and like let you figure out that okay, that place was mentioned there, and hope that you go with the hook, or then you will just think that okay, I just came up with shit and it doesn't matter, now we have to do something else. And you try to let the players get the information in a different way than like uh, go through bodies, find notes scattered around, like half note there, another half there, piece the uh, notes of different characters together and figure out that way, or whatever. Like you will always have to have a second way for the players to find out enough information to lead them forwards.
Yeah, you need redundancy to make sure that key info is always delivered.
Yeah,
Otherwise, the players will be too lost on what to do, right?
yeah, and it, like if the players are that lost, you know that you have done bad yourself as a GM. Like,
Uh, I will say I don't have much, like I said, I don't have much experience, but I will use the moment to compliment you once again because I tried to play such games before with a different group of people. It didn't go well I didn't enjoy it. But in with you, I feel that it's way more enjoyable. The way that you come up with things, the way that you're more versatile. The full group itself is also better, I think, not just the GM. Um, so even though we point fingers like to me and V about oh, you let that person die, it's your fault, and we will say no, it's not, and we like headbutt in there, but it's still all good in the
Yeah,
players. There's no real drama, if you understand what I mean.
yeah,
There's no
no
real
real
uh,
animosity against
nobody
players.
is actually upset at another player for whatever they did, right? Even if you don't like it. Like, for example, I didn't like I think Jetrock was a very interesting character, but his character really clashed with Akur.
Yeah,
Let's just be honest, right? So from that perspective, I didn't like him, but there was never anything actual personal or angry at the player behind the
yeah.
character or
I
something
was
like that.
actually really skeptical about him when he told me the idea of his character. I was like, you are going to be such an asshole with that character. You're going to be such an edge lord and like mess everybody's game. But he actually played it really well, in my opinion. Like, he did stupid stuff, but he made it so that it doesn't really affect the other players in a really negative way.
Like I said, my character.
What are you talking about? It doesn't affect players in a different way. First of all, the first time he decided to go chaotic, if it wasn't for my roles of diplomacy, we would have been in a fucking fight at level 1. I'm
Yeah, you would have
telling
been
you.
in a fight, but like he wouldn't go
He was
randomly
out of
kill
there.
someone and like deliberately make it trouble that you could not walk out or have a conversation to get yourself out.
The thing is, whatever he did, and no matter what type of role he would give, either a really good success or a bad role, it was always fun to watch the outcome,
Yeah,
regardless of being a good or a bad role. It would
yeah,
always lead to something interesting
yeah.
and fun.
Yeah, the point.
you know
Yeah,
so for me, even though, like, I just want to say that in relation to Jetrock, um, Dr. Love, you know um, the character from me and his character really clashed. But as a player, I only uh, uh, gain more respect for him because it was being well played, the character, and we were able to get along as players. So I
yeah,
think that's the compliment I want to give to the group as well, not just the GM on this regard. Is that it made the experience much more interesting when the characters are allowed to do stuff, but not the players being pissed off at each other. And I think that's really important for a good environment on the sessions, and the motivation of going to the next session as well. And I've seen this going wrong with the previous group.
yeah. I was afraid that when he picked up chaotic neutral as his character, like he at the basic was that he doesn't care what happens for what he does. He just does what he wants. But
And that
still,
was true.
yeah. So I was like, he's going to be stealing like stuff from other players or destroying their shit or whatever. Like, that was my assumption when I heard the character points. But yeah, he was chaotic, but he only really put anybody in some danger with the gangsters in the bar. Everything else was like he was chaotic, but it was basically just a good fun.
Yeah, but that gangsters in the bar was the very first event that we had to get an understanding of this guy. So it was quite a strong opening, I can say that.
Yeah.
um yeah, so on that sense, I think it's good. Did he actually, out of curiosity now, did he actually had previous experience playing this
No,
type of game?
no, none. He isn't
Cool.
really even that much of a role playing guy.
But yeah, this fun. So, was
V
cool.
V I find fun in the sense that he has no prior knowledge of basically anything. He has only learned like what's been basically hypnotized to his mind, like shown pictures inside the pod, like this is how you build stuff for war, but still being like maybe like the manipulation was not complete, and he came out and he's like, I just want to be peaceful, but all I know is like making stuff for
Wh-
war.
which is kind of funny because he's like a big tanky guy, right? Very
Yeah,
menacing. But then you just want to be peaceful. I think that actually brings character. That
uh,
brings the
I
and
saw in the simulations what war does, so I want
yeah,
to avoid it.
yeah, and like
and
the
that's totally valid.
funniest part for me is that whenever you try to intimidate someone, you always roll one or two.
Yeah.
Like you're this big guy, you want to be peaceful, and when you want to intimidate someone, you're like, I'm the fluffiest of
Look,
teddy
that
bears you will
this became
find.
part of the character as well, right? It builds the character as well because now
Uh,
this is the image we have of that character. He's like he's a big guy, intimidating, but when he actually tries to be intimidating, he totally fails at it. You know, so it's like and that Akur as well has his own struggles, let's say like that.
I think
Trying to
my character is drifting towards Brom.
I remember a frustration that I had because I was not having that many skills in the beginning, and I was just trying to create exhaust. Reaching
yeah,
somebody, touching them, give them exhaust to help the rest of the party. I was well intended, but for some reason, every time I was trying to do these roles, it was just going to trash. Which brings me to another question that I've been wanting to make, but I keep forgetting about it, which is when we started our sessions, the very beginning, we were not using the technology that we are using now. We were
yeah,
actually literally having a tabletop.
yeah.
Uh,
That was awful
so
to manage. I can
yeah,
tell
I
you.
wanted you to talk about more that experience and the transition and what did you like, what you didn't like, if it was difficult, if it was not difficult, the transition. Um, Also the complaints that we had about the roles not feeling truly randomized, that there felt that there was a bias in the roles and stuff like that. Uh, how was
I
your
haven't
perspective
felt
of
that
that?
in this game.
No, not inside not inside the fantasy grounds, but there was a point in which we tried to use the website, which did seem to have some kind of bias on the roles.
Yeah, it
So
felt
much.
more algorithmic, the rolling site. Um, I actually still would prefer if we had like this whenever you wanna roll, like we would actually use physical dice. That would be awesome.
I can
Uh,
do that from my side if you want. I can easily go to Amazon and buy some fancy dice and have a cup in here. I just need to then confirm that I launched it and point the camera at it to be a proof that I
yeah,
rolled what I say I roll.
yeah, yeah.
I've
That
got like the best fanciest. Well, not those.
yeah,
I
that
can't
would
find my
be nice.
cards.
The thing just is that then, uh, well, the math would be mostly for
Hey, what
me,
are you?
but
Ah,
it would give more of workload to the players to calculate all their throws.
Well, is it not possible?
ah,
Question.
found it.
This is a genuine question. Is it not possible that rather than doing a roll, the software has an
No,
option to say,
there is
hey, we're
no.
doing the rolls physically and we just fill in what we roll. So basically, when we want to do a roll for something, but the game is configured to be physical rolls, that I see Gina has also the dice already.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
not in Fantasy
mine are
Grounds.
cool. They got little ducks in.
Because I can imagine it would be doable to say rather than when we roll the dice because we select a certain skill, that then it actually asks, okay, it asks the GM, no, not the players. It asks the GM what is the input of the roll,
Unfortunately, there
and we
is
can have a
no.
webcam showing you what it was, and then you as the GM can fill in that value.
Unfortunately, no, not in Fantasy Grounds, and I don't think even D20 has it.
Is there like a feature request for Fantasy Grounds? Is there any place where there's like feature requests? Because we could, doesn't hurt to ask. Could be that in 1 year from now they implement something like that.
Let me actually.
I'm just thinking out of the box about that, and I cannot imagine that it is that hard, because basically they already have the algorithm. The only thing that they are doing is skipping a part of that algorithm, of that code, by saying, okay, we are not generating the value internally. We're going to fill in those variables manually by the GM being prompted for it, because the rest of the code is already there. We're just skipping it. The only thing that's being created is a prompt to fill in the variable. At least that's what I think of for it, right? I'm not a professional programmer, but I have experienced programming. So if they have a place where the community can do feature request, maybe that's something that somebody else has requested. So if we find it, we just upvote it saying, yes, we are interested in this feature. And if we don't find anybody else requesting this feature, then we create our own request, if it is a thing. Because I would have fun rolling the dice and having my own collection. I wouldn't mind that, even if we spend a few extra minutes in the session because of it.
Yeah, like, well, it's not much math. Still, you can just see what's the plus and add it to your dice inside the program, and then I can easily
Oh, yeah,
manipulate the damages inside the program without really doing that much more work.
We can research on that later, but so not to interrupt the flow of the question. So, what was your experience through the beginning way method that we were operating? Then, when we had that intermediate situation before we actually then started using Fantasy Grounds?
Yeah. So the first was drawing on a A4 and having a camera pointing up down to it. The management of that was just awful, and having a bigger rooms with more details that was just no go in this digital way, basically. Um, like having that kind of setup, I would have to have a bigger table here, like a camera that moves on top of the table wherever the people are going,
Mm-hmm.
and go with the characters that way, move the characters there. But having like this, for me, a small area, and then either move a paper on it, or just what I did was redraw from. Uh, I had the maps on this. Where is it? I don't know where the booklet is, but I had the maps on drawing
Mm-hmm.
already, and then I just redraw them quickly on the paper. Like the management of that was just awful. Minis would always be like, they are awesome. I like them. They are nice, but just in the format of playing through webcams, it's just awful time for the GM to do those, because it cuts you from having and at that point we didn't have really a good way of me keeping track of everybody's HP, the skills, and all that. So it was just an extra busy work that was unnecessary, and it felt very, very bad doing it. I have done some gaming on just on our kitchen table with my wife, and there it doesn't feel such a busy work because everything's on view all the time for people, so it's
Because
much
they're all
easier.
physically there
Yeah,
to look at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
The second was the Theater of Mind playing. That I really liked. The only problem with that was that people didn't keep tabs on everybody's turns, so there was miscommunication on where people actually are. So that I really liked that. That's actually my preferred type, where you don't really have a map, because the problem with the map is you can put all kinds of details there, and the players can see them, but then you can't add or take away things when you might have not found something in a previous room that you were supposed to find, or previous place. You can't add it to the new place. If it's a big item, it's like explain that, yeah, it's an empty table, but there is a thing. That's an empty wall, but there is a shelf there where
I
you
mean, you
find a
can play
book.
without a map in Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah, you
Well,
can.
I would say the other way still is that you can use a map, but we all understanding that the map, the
Yeah,
limitations
yeah,
of the map, of how
yeah.
much
It's a
information we get
reference.
from it, and having still some meta information beyond what we can see on the map
Yeah,
that
yeah,
only the GM will be able to know, so that he has that freedom.
yeah,
Because I didn't know about that, so I'm glad I made that question, because then you're exposing that, and we can
yeah.
talk about it and
And
find a middle ground.
yeah, it's not just that the players see it, but when you see it yourself, you go like, okay, this is what is in the room, and what you describe is what you see in the on the map, and
Well, how
it makes your brain go like, okay, this is what's in the room when you see it, instead of what would there be, what all kinds of things can I say that there is in the room. The mind log that just happens when you see a map is incredibly hard to break, so to
so
speak.
I will ask this then to you as a follow up. Um, when you are playing directly on the table, right? Either with webcam or with the people physically there. You had also a map then, right? In paper.
uh yeah, but the map was basically only the walls. I didn't draw anything
E-
on there.
exactly, exactly. So what if we can say that the map that we see in the Fantasy Grounds interface, we only consider the walls and we ignore the art.
Yeah, and
Would
actually
that be helpful for you?
might be, we could try it after the thing is
I don't know
done.
the opinion of Dragon and Gina, but I'm just like thinking about it with you
Yeah.
all.
So basically, what we did on live RPG that we did with my wife, we had basically just an A4 with the squares and nothing else on it, and
Hmm.
it was just implied that this is the area that's things are happening, and we only used it to basically orient ourselves on how far away are we from the creature and of each other, and from what on what side are we on of it.
Okay, then another question. When you draw the maps on paper, right? You draw them in advance to the session starting, correct? You don't
Yeah,
come up on the spot
yeah, yeah,
with the rooms. You already have pre-planned what rooms exist, correct?
yeah.
So how feasible is it for you? if I would try to help you find some kind of website that is like some kind of grid. Doesn't need to be square grid, can be hexagonal or pentagonal or triangular or whatever. Any kind of grid, you know, and then you just mark on the grid the spaces that you want to be walkable spaces, you know, and that will just be it. It would be a very basic black white
Can you not do that
grid.
already in Fantasy Grounds?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. If we could do that grid and then export a screenshot of it and then load that screenshot as the map in game, you would be
You
able to
can
use
just
that, right?
make. There is actually ready backgrounds on fantasy grounds that you can just. There is like a green background, and you can just grid it to have however many squares you want.
But is it a difficult interface to use for doing that?
No,
Is it
no,
time
it's not.
consuming?
You can even make your own maps with assets that you can get.
Yeah.
I know, I remember that, but I don't know how user friendly that method was.
It's actually pretty quick on fantasy grounds. Like, I would say even like I had these ready maps from Paizo that were not uh, ready implemented. So I just took the PDF, took a screenshot of that, and imported it to FG Fantasy Grounds, and then did all the walls for field of vision. That whole process took me like half an hour to 40 minutes.
I will say that the current maps that we've been using, yes, I find them pretty, but I still take them mostly as a reference, not I never really thought of it as, hey, everything that I see on this picture is everything there is on this room, right? I always expect, hey, what's inside the drawer, what's on the closets, is there anything that is hidden in this room, anything that is caught my attention with my awareness,
Yeah,
whatever,
but
you
that's
know.
what you are seeing on the map. You see my point? You said what's in the closet, what's in the drawers. You are saying that, yeah, there is a table, maybe there is a drawer on it.
I see your point. Yeah,
That
because
already
there's
locks
already
you down
some.
on what you see there. But
Hmm.
and then you're like, okay, yeah, they're going to have shelves. What on the shelves? Yeah,
Yeah,
you
okay.
can
So
go to that.
indeed, then we need a little bit more. But at this point, you are actually following maps because you're following a book.
Yeah, yeah. At this point,
But
I'm
but
doing that.
but if you would go back to how we did it without the book, then we could go into fantasy grounds using
Yeah,
physical dice and having pre made maps manually by you, which are just a black and white grid,
yeah,
basically,
yeah,
like a paper.
yeah. That we can try that. We can see how it goes.
If the others are interested in that, I'm just talking for myself on this part. Gina and Dragon also need to be interested in that.
We could test out different things and see what we prefer.
Yeah. Yeah, this is already the third iteration that we're doing. So yeah, definitely gonna try it.
It's a learning experience for multiple things, so I think it's cool.
Yeah. Going back
Uh,
to like a character development, I just found it super funny when you picked up the mind thrust spell. When you just like, I give up on trying to exhaust people, I will pick this thing, and then
Literally, that's
the
what happened. Yeah.
the next fight, like brains melting through the nose and the ears, and
Yeah, because then I was like, okay, let's have some fun because I wanted to try that skill. Then I roll such a strong,
yeah,
for once, I roll so strong for it that Gina even went like, is that, is that,
yeah.
because she was
I
curious.
love
Yeah, show me, what is fun?
peace and
What is
love
fun?
to
And then he
everybody,
started
and then
describing the melting of the bread. You go, Jesus, what the hell?
yeah,
This was cool. Was a
my
funny,
body's
was a
only
funny,
peace loving and
I
wants to
enjoy that
bring
reaction
peace
from
and
Gina a lot.
wants to bring peace to everybody, and then mind thrust. Oh,
Gina is going to talk. Or
Huh?
now she's
no?
doing something.
It felt like you were going to reply to us.
No.
No, no.
Not at all.
It felt like you were going to talk, but then you hold yourself.
No.
Okay.
I was looking at something else.
Okay.
But yeah, the for me it's how do I say this? Giving agency to players in this group is kind of like challenging at sometimes because V is so reactionary. It's kind of hard to make him be doing stuff like giving you the chance to like go and yeah, I will do this. It's kind of like hard when you're so reactionary. Uh, but that's on the GM to let people have agency of what's happening. But everybody just lets like Gina has the highest roll, so let Sora do the talking because of rolls, and yeah,
That would be a fun
it's
statistic to
it's
have
it's a
in each session.
it's kind of like people are a little bit afraid of doing what their character is not good for.
Yeah,
Like,
because
Well,
we
that's
get
genuinely how you kind of do this stuff, isn't it? Really,
because
most of
we
the
get
time.
ridicularized if we fail.
no, it's the
Sorry,
min-maxing
did you say
gamer mentality
ridicularized?
from PC gaming.
Ridicularized.
What the fuck is
Ridicularized.
that? You mean ridiculed?
It's like an exaggeration of ridiculed.
Stop giving him ridicularized.
I made a bad translation from Portuguese. I apologize to your English.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like,
apologize to the English language. Yes.
Yeah, please.
English language is offended.
No, ridicularizado. That's the
Yeah,
Portuguese word.
just because it works in your language doesn't mean it works in others, okay?
I know, but that's
So
what
why
I
do you do it still?
because I generally thought that was the correct word.
More often than not, it works.
Ridiculed, I recognize, but that's not what my brain brought when I was searching for the word.
Yeah, we understood that.
Thank you. I know my brain is weird
but yeah, like,
sometimes.
Okay.
like that's the hardest part for me as a GM is to try to
But see my point? I just
try
got
to get you out
was ridiculed for using the ridicularized. So see
No,
my
it's
fear?
just it was such a unique word.
You see
And you
my
went
fear?
with it like you knew it. Like you were like,
Mm,
yeah,
I was
this is the
searching.
word.
I
This
was
is the word.
trying.
but yeah, like
Example.
yeah, like getting people
Ridiculed, by the way. Nobody called you an idiot for using it. That would have been ridiculed.
Okay, so I don't know the correct term then.
Oh no. I meant right now you didn't get ridiculed for it.
Okay.
okay.
Is it like calling out for something that
More
they
than
did
that.
wrong?
Scrutinized.
Yes. Ridiculed is a lot harsher.
No.
Well, I
So-
feel it's more like on the sense
You can
that
feel what you want, but the definition isn't going to change.
okay, so but I'm trying to explain the feeling so that you can help me find the correct word then.
It's the right word,
yeah, scrutinize.
but the wrong way of using it in the
But
second half of your
scrutinize is
comment.
also is scrutinize. I think okay, so correct me if I'm indeed wrong, but I thought scrutinize
Dragon,
is a bit.
I'm tagging you in. I'm handing it off to you. I'm just
Okay,
gonna
okay,
read that.
okay. scrutinized, but I want to learn the English, so I'm asking for help in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't scrutinized about seriously looking into something?
No, not
Because
really.
It's
if
It
you're
can be.
mocking,
It can
it's
be.
not scrutinized, right?
Uh,
so this was scrutiny. Sorry.
go go.
Yeah, so I was saying this was scrutiny because it's correcting a mistake. It's pointing out a mistake, telling you that it's an error, and there is like it's a whole process of like telling you this is wrong and here is right.
But isn't scrutiny not necessarily finding an error, but being the attention to detail that you're giving
It
to see if there is an error?
Yeah, it is to scrutinize is to find an error and correct it.
Yeah, so it's the
So
action of
if you
finding,
find an
the
error,
searching for it and finding it.
no,
So there's no searching involved. It's just the fact that you already found it.
no. So
Okay,
yeah,
I need to read into it, because to be honest, most of my English is not by reading the dictionary; it's more by experience of the words, how they were used in which context. That's how I learned English.
but yeah,
So,
scrutinize is basically if you find something that is wrong, it doesn't mean if you were searching for it or you just heard it, but you
mhm.
want to correct it. It is to scrutinize. You can use that there.
Okay, but if I would, let's say, if I would have a player that rolls really, really bad, and then he's being told about it, like the other players are reacting because of his bad roll and like criticizing, you know, uh, is that scrutiny still?
Not really. That's just like
Is that ridicule then?
I wouldn't call it a ridicule. It's more like, haha, you rolled bad, whatever. It's like, uh,
So that what's the word for that? Then that's the word I'm trying to find.
yeah, to ridicule is basically you mean it in a like bad way. Like you are doing it to hurt the other one mentally, basically. You are ridiculing
Oh,
them.
oh no, no, but that's why I did. Okay, um, yeah, different
The other one
cultures
is
in here.
basically
It's
banter.
different cultures.
Banter is something that
Ridicularizar in Portuguese has a similar meaning, but it can be done in a kind of a playful way. That's what I meant.
it's usually banter when it's someone made a mistake and you are just having it in good fun to like point out the mistakes and just make
Okay.
light-hearted fun of something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, moving on. But yeah.
But yeah, like my point was that each one of you is a PC gamer basically by start, so all of you think in a way of min-maxing things, and when like role playing is not really about min-maxing, it's just that your character might come up with an idea that he is never ever going to accomplish or he's bad at, but he's still just going to like, oh well, let's try it. Why shouldn't I try this? I got the idea. But as a PC gamer mentality, you are just scared of trying it for failing and being like severely like punished by it. And in this case you don't have a save state, so you are like, no, I'm not going to try it, I don't have a save state. uh,
Well, I will say this: on the previous group where I tried the first time to play, not Starfinder but Pathfinder, that's basically what happened. If you would, if something would go wrong, it would really, really go wrong, because you did a decision as a player, even though you were trying to be in character, even if it's not the smartest decision, but you got immediately heavily punished, and not just you, but the full team, then you become a bit more
Yeah.
afraid of doing that in the future.
Yeah, but to me, like playing a role-playing game, you can have such stupid ideas. It is just for the GM to let people have their stupid ideas, let them try them out, and if there is like any way that they can just survive it, just let them have some damage. For like, if you are jumping from a freaking roof, let them twist an ankle and have take some damage if they fail. But like, don't punish them
If
more
they
than
don't,
that.
if they don't fail, that's epic. That creates an epic moment.
Yeah,
We
like
had that. We
yeah,
had that a few
like
times.
like the best things that happen in ttrpg is when you do stupid stuff and it actually works.
Look, I was already thinking of this for a few minutes. Um, One of the videos that you shared with me, related with role playing, uh, was it a video? I don't know if it was like a YouTube joke. I don't think it was a real session, or maybe it was an animation for a real session. I don't know. I don't remember the details, but I remember this part. They basically killed the dude by having a ring, which they use a magic to
Oh yeah,
temporarily
yeah,
make
yeah,
it
yeah,
look
yeah.
like a crown, give it to the bad guy. The guy
that
uses
that's
the crown. Eventually, the spell wears out, becomes a ring, and just kills them on the moment because it just crushes his skull.
yeah, yeah, that's actually
And
from
that
an
was so out of the box.
that's from
And
an
I was
actual
just, I
session.
was mind blown by that example. I was like, whoa,
Yeah, that's
you
from
can do this.
that's from an actual session, and it was from those shorts that they have with the um what are they called, these knitted characters.
I mean, how does a GM feel with that? He prepares the character, he prepares the fight, and then it's just like
Oh,
basically there is no fight. There was
oh,
just a deception and an instant kill.
oh, you should watch Critical Role for that. Like the amount of characters that have died in the most stupidest ways, the monsters that Matt Mercer comes up with, and the players just kill them with the stupidest little thing. And the GM, the Matt Mercer, goes like, "Ah, this was supposed to be the whole session, and now it's done in less than 5 minutes." What a
It hurts.
and he just like pushes all his stuff to the ground like, okay, for the rest of the session I have no plans. Let's just go with whatever. And then they play for 3 hours without any preparation from the
but
GM.
but isn't that fun as well?
It
Isn't that
is
part?
like it, I love it when people have like when you are creative and you have your stupid ideas that you actually make work. Like, have at it. I don't care if I lose a ton of work for it. Like, if it's an epic moment, who cares if I used 5 hours to do something and you just breeze over it in 1 minute?
I mean, some part of that work can be recycled, right?
Yeah,
To
it
other
can.
character. Yeah. So it's never really wasted 100%.
Yeah, but like
But that's
at
cool.
that moment, it feels like I just wasted this many hours of my life and you guys did this.
Maybe I should watch those things more because maybe I will learn as well how to be a better player
Yeah,
for that.
it really helps. If you want like shorter series,
Yes, please. But
and
that level of fun and that level of out of the box thinking and
yeah,
role playing.
like there is the group is fully made of Paizo's
What is that?
uh, there is a like a game, campaign that all the players are from Paizo, and the
Okay.
GM is the main guy behind Pathfinder Second Edition. And just the amount of rules he misses in the series is amazing when he's the one who has designed the game.
So he doesn't really follow to the book. He makes his own rules.
No, he tries to go by the rules, but he just forgets like what was the rule for this, and then the players and the chat are like, no, that's not how that rule goes. And he's like, well, I don't remember. I had 20 different versions of this rule. I don't remember which one went to the book.
Being too knowledgeable can also work against you because it becomes murky.
And like the series name is Band of Bravos.
Link me up later,
Yeah.
or on the Royal Storm.
I can actually put it
on the Royal
chat
Storm
after.
channel for the Seekers of the
Yeah.
Past.
Yeah. I'll make this the last. The next question gonna be the last, because then I will put that stuff and so on. But yeah, like watching other people play helps you create a mindset of an RPG player more. It definitely helps. Like, if I watch this series just so I get more on the mindset of how to be a GM. Even just listening to people telling like these are tricks, tips and tricks for GMing, I don't find them nearly as useful as seeing the GM like be like you learn to notice when the GM just lets the players talk, so he has time to prepare for whatever the players messed up of his plans. Which is also why I sometimes let you guys just like talk and talk and talk. It's like, I didn't plan for this. What am I gonna do next?
Yeah, you use that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I told us. I have a question for Gina, based on this last question. Before I let one of the two of them make the last question to you, Gina, you play Baldur's Gate 3, correct?
Dragon does too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know that Dragon did as well. So the question goes better for the two of you. Based on your experience with Baldur's Gate 3, which I have none, I know it's still a computer game, so there will be inherent, if I use correctly that word, limitations that come with it. But from what I understand, it's a game that is made to be very open on your options, on how you do things and the consequences of it. Is that correct or not? Does that
Yes.
help? Does that help me be the middle ground of being a what, like the PC player that Cthulhu was saying, and
You
being
would
a little bit more
understand
open?
combat better.
But being more open as well on my way of thinking and the consequences of it in the game, because they had to program it in the game, so I don't really have full
I
freedom.
personally find that you only have one way of thinking when it comes to games.
Me, you're talking about me
Yes.
now. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So I think that's something that you would have to actively choose to defy.
The first
I don't
video,
think Baldur's Gate's going to change that at
uh,
all.
the first video I saw on Baldur's Gate 3 was actually a video where Matt Mercer was playing it, and he just goes like, this is gonna take such a long time going through this whole castle thing that you are at some point supposed to like conquer or at least kill someone inside the castle. And he's like,
You don't have to kill anybody. That's it. That's the point. Is it's not. Yeah.
but like at least interact with
Yeah.
this guy. And he's like, I'm not gonna do all this on right now, and we are supposed to like finish this castle. And he just takes like this, he's like, oh, there's these boxes. He just starts piling the boxes up, like takes one box, jumps up, puts the box on
yeah.
top and then displacement arrows himself into the castle. Everybody's like, and there is the developer in there, and he's like, we never imagined that this could be done.
It's the same with the sword that's in Astarion's hands in our playthrough. I feel like it's too OP. We got a cutscene that a chat log that we shouldn't have got in 1 instead of 3. So, yeah, no. There are quite a few, like...
They know this is part of the game. Like, they let it happen. They would have patched it out a long time ago.
Yeah, it is a hard... Yeah, but that's the point, is that people will take the time to do this because it took us a few tries to get that sword. A good few tries of reloading.
What do you mean by... okay, so you go back to a previous save state.
It's not even that hard. It's a quick save. You can do the quick save on the dice roll and reload it on that same dice roll.
Isn't that cheating?
Yes?
That's the point. Yeah. It's
I wouldn't
cheating
do
in the
I
sense
wouldn't
you're
do
just
that
going
because I
back
feel
one.
like I'm always winning the game with it's just a question of a retry until I get what I want.
Oh yeah.
I need to go with the
They
dice.
released a mode where you can't do any of that now. It's
Okay.
called honor mode. You lose your save though.
Is it called what?
Honor mode.
It's
If
like
you get a team
hardcore.
wipe, yeah, if you team wipe, done.
That's what I would want to, because I think that's
it's very. You shouldn't do that on your first playthrough by any means.
Don't ever do that.
You need
on
to
the first
fully
playthrough.
understand everything in the game to do that.
The only thing I disagree with is them telling you don't do the Dark Urge on your first playthrough. The fact that the Dark Urge opens up more lore in the whole D&D universe is quite interesting.
Because I have zero knowledge of the D&D universe, so I think that since Baldur's Gate is based on it, even though it's the third iteration of it, is it that the problem for me to play that game?
No.
It's a game.
Gate 1
it's a
and
game.
Baldur's Gate 2
all
are
you'll be
lore-wise connected, but
all you're using is some references.
with those two.
Okay,
so you don't need any reference actually.
This is 100 years later after the second
I know that the game by itself is recommended as a great game, but from the context
it's game of the year.
Yeah, but as of the context of playing role-playing games that are based on that are similar to D&D, but like real, like what we are doing, like
you do know they're the makers of Divinity, right?
Yes.
So you've played Divinity.
Not to the end.
Yeah, but you've played it.
I played it a little bit, yes.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I didn't replay it. I didn't replay it the second time, so I don't know how much freedom is there of what
this
I'm
is
doing.
A much better version of that. This is brought into the now of it. There's more story. That's more flexible.
It's the same as I played the one from Nintendo, the Fire Emblem, but I didn't replay it again because I didn't finish the first one even. So I don't know how different the game can actually go based on my actions.
This is a common thing for you. Have you finished Hogwarts yet?
No.
What game have you finished of late?
I finished Senua's Hellblade. I finished the games from...
How long did it take you to finish Senua, by the way?
3 years.
Yeah, I'm going to hear 3 years now, I bet you.
Yeah, you're probably going to hear 3 years, but the reason for it...
Yeah, we get it, but...
The reason for it was I was playing with a girlfriend always, all the sessions, and then all of a sudden we separated. So me going back to that game, the separation was still too emotionally fresh for me to be able to play that game.
Okay, except for the girlfriend. Any other game?
Ori, the two, the first and the second. I finished the game. Moss.
Let's say a computer game because that's a Switch game and stuff like that. Those games are designed to be, quick.
I played Moss until the end. There was also another VR game. I don't remember the game I played until the end.
Any hardcore games like, I don't know, Cyberpunk.
No, I've been playing Minecraft, so I've not been playing anything else much.
Yeah, like you have to understand then you're probably not going to finish it. You're not going to finish a playthrough, because I would say a playthrough all the way from Act 1 to the finish ending, for you, 150 hours.
Yeah, because I am also not a person that likes to rush through the
And
content.
I'm estimating it low, most likely, for you.
To be honest, I've been considering, rather than playing Minecraft all the time that I have free for gaming, that I actually create a schedule in which weekly I play, not streaming to anybody, so there's zero dependency if I have spectators or not, or whatever, and I just play the game, and only that game, and not allowed to touch any other game of my Steam library until I finish
Why
that
would you
game.
do that, though? That can cause you to burn out on games.
No, I'm still playing Minecraft on the side because I'm developing
I'm not
developing the
saying,
server.
I'm saying limiting yourself to a game at a
Because
certain period of time will cause a burnout.
No, what I mean is like saying, like, let's say before I go to sleep, right? Or every weekend, I spend a few hours with this particular game, and I'm not going to start another game that is similar on the sense that is, I mean, if it's a different, totally different game, fine. But for example, Cyberpunk, Hogwarts, Control, you see the point. They are all single player role-playing story games, right? So why am I doing three at the same time? I should pick one of them, finish, then go to the other, and then
Because they're
finish that.
different flavors.
Yeah, but
You
that's
don't
the
always
problem.
have to eat chocolate ice cream
I know, but then the problem
until you
is,
get sick of it.
but then the problem is that I'm not really finishing anything because there's always an interesting game that I'm being interested, play a little bit,
But
and
you're
then I never
playing what you
finish.
enjoy at a period of time.
Yeah, but then it's not enjoyable because I never finish and I never
Yeah,
really
you're
truly.
saying that now because you don't like the fact that you haven't finished something. But the time you spent in those games are enjoyable, correct?
Oh, the time that I was playing was enjoyable. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's the same
Why
with
change
Zelda.
that?
I bought the Switch on day one, bought Zelda on day one, played a lot of hours in Zelda, but never in a really sustained way, and so much so that I already bought the second game of Zelda as the sequel, but I didn't touch it because I still didn't finish the first one. I have finished Zelda games before. 2 of them, but not on the Switch.
Suggestion: the things that we've missed in our campaign,
Yes.
maybe you could have them as like maybe one shots or like tiny replays or something.
Or you could use it to test ways of playing.
Yeah.
That could be.
So you wanted to test something, test it, or ways of playing.
Yeah.
I do have a genuine interest in opening up and being a better play for these role-playing games, and it has
I'm
been in
definitely
my
a
mind.
horrible. I think, especially for the GM, I've been a horrible role player.
At times, I have hated every
Oof.
one of you.
What does that even mean? What the fuck? Jesus, everybody's mean.
It's true.
Leave that to me.
It is true. It is a fact.
Nobody is being mean,
Like,
I think.
It's my doubting face.
it's
Nobody's being mean to that.
I
Today,
wrote
nobody's being
a
mean.
preliminary for the Pathfinder. I wrote a preliminary rundown on the story I want to create.
okay. Do you want?
I even have a little book. This is my book. This is my GM book. Okay. All right. Okay. Just listen. Okay. And then comment, and I'll ask comments. All right.
Okay.
Before that, you didn't finish your thought. What were you saying about me being? Yeah. When I said.
Oh yeah. Keep being mean. I was trying to cut that off, but keep being mean.
Yes, go ahead.
Please, DM, finish it, because apparently the person wants to hear.
Sounds like Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
No,
You have to pay for fatality. Stop getting me. Stop. Just stop.
What?
Let's go.
No.
Yes,
Yes.
you pay for fatalities
Yeah.
now.
€5
Is that
a
the-
piece.
Yep.
Oh no! It was €10 a piece for the holiday ones.
Yeah, no, you still have to. If you bought a holiday one, because it was so shit, they gave you 2 free fatalities of your choosing, not a money back.
So you
2
have the
free
you have
fatalities.
you have DLC fatalities
Yes,
that you can
pay for.
execute. That you can execute. I do not like at all the direction this is going.
I was done when I heard. I was. Oh
I've been
boy,
considering coming back to Mortal Kombat, but
don't.
stuff like
You have
that.
to pay for your fatalities. Yeah,
I
GM, you dick bag. Continue calling someone an ass butt or something.
oh,
No.
Tell him he's terrible at acting.
No, I just said that there has been points that I have hated every one of you in the game sessions.
Oh, we're terrible
can
at making
imagine.
decisions. That's a given.
Yeah. And I have to sometimes like kick you in the ass and like force
Kiki in the ass? Who's
force
Kiki?
things on you. Like there has been
That's
few
funny.
times that I've had like a patrol just come through that I didn't have any like inclination of having there, but it was like, you guys are just having so long being here. I will just murder you if you don't move.
and then you roll bad.
No,
So is that the secret rolls we see sometimes taking place?
sometimes, yeah.
And we go, what are you rolling for, GM? Nothing.
Some of them are your perception checks, and other times I'm just rolling for like, let's see if I roll this or higher than this number, I will just have a patrol come and attack you, and I will just make it a super hard fight.
I enjoy that you have the idea and you don't just execute it. You also limiting yourself the same way as a player having an idea and wanting to do an action by having to roll for it. That's cool. That's cool. Anyway, I'll ask about Baldur's Gate later after this session. I don't want to drag on that topic. So I leave it to Gina and Dragon to give you the last question.
I think Gina wanted to demonstrate her. I think,
oh yeah, true.
Prowess.
Sorry, demonstrate my what? I was trying to cut off. You really wanted to be put down like some masochist. I was like,
I'm curious.
I'm also curious about what you were going to open in the book, actually.
Yeah. Give us a taste.
Show us.
Okay. So Pathfinder. I was going to do a Pathfinder thingy. Sorry, there's passwords on that page. I had to
It's
go
all
through
white.
the long way.
It's all white in the screen.
It's okay. People won't know
show
the difference between a password or dark, some shiny Lucario you get in Pokemon. So they'll have to use one of those. So I was thinking about kind of not limiting it at all. Nothing like about limiting, but trying to use what I'm good at to like GM it. So I was going to go with a myth story based stuff. So lots to do with Dante's Inferno. So hellscape sort of style, but like the layers of hell. So I was going to use that and then kind of like go with, okay, sorry, I have characters here that I've already decided to make. I felt like mine was going to be too pretty. So I started trying to pull in ugly characters. So I thought about, because I ended up writing down, I kind of want them to, each race, this is going to get weird because now people are going to assume I'm being racist against devils and orcs and shit like that now.
We are
but
not that type of people.
Each race would end up being not necessarily a layer, but a sin association sort of style. So like wrath would be something that's more beast-like, so like werewolf styles or something else that's more beastie-like. And I put down elves for like pride and any type of elven race like pride and drows, even though I would kind of pull them together but have like a hierarchy system. Like drows would be the lower end of the hierarchy. You get it? Because they've been put down by apparently high elves, but that'll be pride. The fae, like fae creatures, would be envy. Humans, I did not give them an actual thing. I thought I could put dragons in it, but then make the dragons greed. But then because they went extinct, I would put the wolves as greed. And like some type of Japanese race. So I put like kitsunes as sloth. But then I found the Oni demons, but they're elementals, and I don't think they fit sloth enough.
So I
But
have
anyway,
a
that was it.
question. So I have a question for you then, Gina.
And lust devils, by the way.
So the universe or the universe of the game session, I mean, that you're creating, it's not based on Pathfinder or Starfinder
No,
or
just the rule set.
D&D, or it's 100% your own thing?
Yes, it will be like Inferno. I was gonna throw people in there, and they're not gonna know why they're there. But it will be like a near-death experience.
So when you
So
say like
people,
Inferno, is that an established thing?
Yeah, that's
Because
a
I know
thing.
what
no,
Inferno.
no, no.
Inferno means hell. I understand that.
Yeah. So like all the characters will be having a near-death experience, and then something about their character would associate quite closely to either something they've done in their lives or so forth like that, but will probably link to a sin.
Is it near death or is it actual death? Because to go to hell, you already need to be dead, right?
No. Sorry, okay. Okay, first of all, you don't know that. That's not a given. But no,
Okay.
no, you don't.
I'm
You
talking
can be
about.
pulled
I'm
into
talking about.
hell by a dimensional gate and
Yeah,
not
true,
actually meant
true,
to be
true,
there.
true. But okay. But what I mean is like in the concept of in religion, right? The concept of hell normally is you don't experience hell when you're having a
You're
near death
tested.
experience.
No. Religion has this thing about testing its people. So yes, you
True.
can have a near-death experience and be put through hell and find out why you shouldn't be there and become a better person.
Okay, I never heard it like that. So okay, interesting.
Sorry, have you not heard of who was it again? Was it Isaac who was the guy that was asked to kill his own son? No,
Uh,
Cain, no. Cain killed his brother.
Brother. Yeah, I know the story.
Who
Yes.
was the
Abraham.
person that was asked to kill his own son?
I don't know the name,
Abraham
but I
was
know
asked to kill
that's
his
part of the
own son.
Bible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Abraham.
they're put through. Yes, Abraham. Thank you.
And I don't know if it's Brown. Yeah, because the Bible that I've learned was in Portuguese when I was a kid. So sorry.
They got the names different.
Yes,
His
Okay.
son is Ismail or
it's
Ishmael.
like that's how I learned
Yeah.
that my name in English is James,
Okay.
because Tiago is a Bible. Santiago, more precisely, is from the Bible, but Santiago doesn't exist on the English version of the Bible. It's Saint James. It's the same character. So technically, Tiago, which comes from the Bible, is James, which also comes from the Bible, referring to the same person. So Tiago means James in English. They sound totally different names, but they are the same. That's what I
Mm.
know. But what I know is like hell is where you go if you die and you were not good during your life. Heaven is the opposite if you were good during your life. And if you're not that bad that you're going to be in eternity for hell, but you're still not pure enough to go to heaven because you were not perfect, then you have damn it, I just knew the word
Limbo.
and now no, not it's not called limbo in Portuguese. Uh, Dang it! I knew that I had the word until I reached that sentence, and then the word was vanished. Purgatorio, purgatory. That's the word. Purgatory is like this place where you're supposed to suffer like hell, but for a limited time.
Guys are going to give me wrinkles.
Am I saying 100% wrong in here? Purgatory?
No.
Purgatory is the right word, yeah.
Okay, but that's not how it works?
There's different iterations of it, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's the one I've learned, at least, when I was a kid. And when I say kid, I mean 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds fun. Does sound fun, yeah.
I was going to go for bringing in Horsemen of the Apocalypse, you know, each one as like a thing. I was going to go for like each different area would be each different race would have their different cultures. So their cultures would have, for example, let's just use the Kitsune, but it's not fox people or some type of Asian would be in an eastern area. So you get a different map for that area.
Yeah.
Sort of style. I was going to go with magic-wise, probably the exact same magic in Pathfinder. So devil packs, all of that stuff. You can go with, same things. What else is there? I already started mapping out because I was going to draw a whole map. I already understand that stuff. That's other things. By
the way, remember to say people that they are not allowed to learn Banish.
Learn Banish. Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, there will be a limitation on certain spells that will break the because you can't imagine if you can't banish someone back to hell. But yeah,
no, if you don't banish, the players can banish themselves back to their own realm.
Yeah, probably. Or dimensional door, like that's got to go out of it as well. Fuck using that spell. Anything to do with transporting, you're gonna have to walk or take a carriage. That's it.
I'm gonna use the carriage spell. Everything.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just have a horse trotting by. That's it. While I was waiting for my electricians to do, I was picking out some names. For like vampire, I was going to make vampires like parasitic vampires. Like, oh, they're pretty, but if you get bitten by one, you're dead. You're either 90% dead because it's a dominant gene. It will kind of overwrite like the rest, but that like you're not going to be 100%. They're not pretty per se. They're going to get fucked. Vampires, you run the fuck away. They're going to be like bad people in this one.
So you're removing the sexualization of vampires.
Like the Witcher 3 vampires.
They can be super. We can make them pretty, but you're not going to be on good terms with them. You're not going to be, if you try and romance them, they'll use you, abuse you, and you'll become a spawn or die. That's it. Like genuinely, good luck.
Okay, well, I thought you were also meaning it like the visual, the looks of the vampire. Somebody being a vampire would also have consequences to the beauty of the person in a negative way.
It depends, you're going to be, there's no, if you get bitten, you're going to be pretty all of a sudden. You gain like 5 charisma points. No,
well,
you're going to be.
Normally what they did is like you keep your looks from whenever you become converted into a vampire. That's what I've learned so far from vampires I've seen.
Converted into a vampire in my universe, you have to go through hell. Literal, not.
Okay. I'm talking about what I've seen in other movies and series and stuff like that.
No, like I said, they're not going to be good in there.
Okay.
I thought about an evil group called the Unholy Gathering because hell, Unholy Gathering being. I haven't thought of a good morally right group. The time span obviously is going to be Pathfinder time, so we're talking medieval kind of ish. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be no fancy lancy
a high fantasy medieval.
Sorry?
High fantasy medieval.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a bleaker story, and I would prefer if people weren't necessarily bleak, but I want you to understand that this is going to help you become a better person and to get out of hell.
So that's the
Sort of
objective,
style.
trying to get out.
Yep.
I have a
So
question for you about
every character has a
making.
common objective. Each one
Yeah,
is
and I
trying
was
to
going to bring in like orcs and humans that don't, maybe those guys don't actually have like sins, and then they're discriminated against as well. Because let's be real, my story isn't going to be politically okay. All right, heads up, very
Don't
very
care.
early. I've watched. This isn't going to be politically fine. If somebody was to come in and they want something to be politically correct, this is going to be probably no. All right. Is going to be slavery. There's going to be discrimination on race. There's going to be murder. There's going to be people wanting
all things that make sense in hell and things that did happen in our planet. So,
dude, yeah, it's just going to happen.
So, like the fact that you're telling a story, in my opinion, is not perpetuating that mindset that we should behave like that in the real world towards other people. So, I think it's totally fine. It's just that I understand there will always be somewhere out there in the world that will have issues with whatever thing, right? So even if you're doing donations to something or whatever, doing something good, people will still find a way to criticize that. That's how the world is. There will always be somebody. So don't pay attention to that. Just do your own thing, Gina. Do your own creativity.
For each kind of race and stuff like that, you would obviously, if you're going to piss them off, you'll piss them off and you'll lose stuff. But each kind of race or something like that, I'm going to go with, will have something they excel at. So where they're originated, they will have a reason for being originated where they are. So it will be a source of income. Do you see what I mean? If it was like an adamantium forge, I'm just using that because I know adamantium right now from my thing. It will be a metal forge. That will be what they want. So effectively, if somebody wanted that armor made out of something from that, don't piss them off or you're not getting that armor. Do you see what I mean? If that's going to be the build that you will create, that's where I want people to be a bit more careful about who they are pissing off and stuff like that sort of thing. So there'll be obviously reasons for those villages to be there or those settlements to be there, like water sources. Certain things will be open to you in those areas.
So from what I understand in your story, the depiction of hell is a kind of a place where it's not a welcoming place, I understand, but they're still free roaming for the individuals.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the last time I saw there's multiple depictions. That's the thing of it. But one of the depictions I saw is that everybody that was sent to hell, is they are trapped. Basically, they are in kind of like in some kind of very closed area as a prison, and where they are in a painful experience, either with zero capacity of movement or trapped within the room, which is being their personal hell in some way.
Mm-hmm. This is more meant to be along the lines of you condemn yourself, or you can save yourself.
I want to ask a little question about character creation.
Yes.
How would you feel if having a quirk, so something a character would be really bad at?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was kind of like I wanted people to have something for a reason they're there, if you know what I mean. So you would have to have when you're picking, let's say, your buffs, let's say, or something, you have to counter that at least with one bad trait that's you as a character have to have for a reason for being.
I was going to ask that for the stats because I have a specific type of character I want to do. Yeah, I guessed
your one. Yeah. Can you make the sin called oblivious?
I would really want him to be super bad at two things, but really good at one thing, stats wise. So can I max out to the maximum of whatever the stat would be at level 1, so 18 in one stat, and just leave the two?
I will make you trip over yourself so much if it's not anything to do with strength or dexterity. I swear to God, you may accidentally
not going
trip
to be
or
neither of
push one
those.
of your allies. Yeah, I will make your team somewhat hate you sometimes if you do that. You might accidentally push someone into a pond or some shit like that. Oh yeah.
Two things I want. Let's say -2, so 6. Intelligence
Jesus.
and wisdom. And I want maxed out charisma.
That's the point, is that you could totally do it. At level 1, you may still piss people off, but you will cause team issues. But you might, I'll go roll for convincing them that you didn't mean it, or roll for looking pretty.
And the wisdom and intelligence are not allowed to be raised at any point, even with items.
Jesus. Yeah. Yep. Totally. I would totally allow it, and I'll work with it.
So it will be point system that, if you would have a point system of assigning points. I'm still thinking like a computer game. Sorry. If you would have starting with 0 points, and you would have 0 points to apply to any skill, and the only way that you would be able to get points to apply on the skill is by going on the negative on other skills that you decide to go on the negative. So I have 0 points, I cannot invest in anything, but if I do -1, -2, -3 in other parts, that will give me those 2 or 3 points that then I can go into the plus on other stats. Is that a viable way of operating?
It is one of the ways that Pathfinder allows to create characters. There is 3 ways. Either go with the stat blocks. Second is throwing dice. And
yeah, that's what I played before. Yeah.
And third one is exactly take quirks and get bonuses for those quirks. But yeah, I want to make...
And that way is always balanced.
I want to make a character who's idiotic, has very dumb ideas, but he's just so charismatic that he just pulls them through. And he's going to be a sorcerer. He's going
a lot can happen with that.
He's going to be a sorcerer rogue. I have this character completely made. Don't worry.
Okay.
I had designed this way before. I just wanted to play it. I have always wanted to play it.
So how close
I would like to be in his enemy team.
How close are you to actually be able to move forward with actual gameplay?
What, me? I only just decided I would do I haven't designed the map yet. I've got names for people. The head vampire is called
you're creating the universe. Right now you're creating the universe and the mechanics. Yeah, I understand that.
I have the mechanics now with the way it's going to work is going to be Pathfinder way. So it's fine. There's no need for me to design
with some filtering that you're already discussing. Yeah. But how long ago did you decide that you wanted to do this?
I guess some time ago, but then just started going on this for a week or two.
As a entertaining way of keeping your indulging your mind, I guess, into it. Yeah, that's cool. Kudos on that.
But yeah, do you have the Pathfinder?
Yeah, Gint's got it all for me for Christmas. So I've got Pathfinder. I've got the add-on that allows everybody to join with a free account. I have the core rulebook. I have the one for people like player core rulebook, the new one, the new 2. I have
the enhanced.
I have more stuff. I have the Adventurer's Book. I have all the beast series.
So you're planning to use Fantasy Grounds?
Yeah, it's easier for everyone. And if I design the maps as well, I ask at all, I can easily just stick them in. I'm going to get some map packs as well and design the maps with the packs. Do you see what I mean? So you can use little squares, and each square you can design yourself and then put walls and stuff like that. Gonna do that. I just wanted to know, can you add, like with Fantasy Ground map packs, could you still do it if you decide, like when you're creating the load in and you choose Pathfinder 2E, not Legacy, but the new one, can you still use content that's just Fantasy Grounds?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's it. Yeah. I have the Merchant's Handbook thing as well. So I have that in there already as well. I have a shit ton. Gint's got me a shit ton for Christmas because he didn't know what I wanted. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all there.
In core rulebook, you can imagine my character when you go to Sorcerer. There is the Devil's Tongue Sorcerer.
Okay.
Whenever I use a spell, I actually gain for my next diplomacy or bluff roll a +1. Because my tongue becomes the Devil's Tongue. It deals some extra damage from fire spells. That doesn't really matter for me. All I want is really the Devil's Tongue. And from Rogue, there is actually basically a rogue that specializes in scamming people, which also gives you a huge amount of bluff.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be bluffing my way to act like I'm smart, even though I'm the dumbest shit you can ever imagine.
Jesus. I will make you roleplay this, by the way, because I'll be like, you have to bluff, so therefore you're doing it, and I'll be like, I'll play the merchant, obviously, and then, but I'll say you have to say something dumb right now, but it's got to, and I swear it's got to be dumb.
Yeah, so that's the idea of my character. I really, really wanted to play this type of character, like fake it till you make it. But this character will just never make it because the intelligence and wisdom are locked.
I've asked a few people if they wanted to join. Gob said he would be super up for it, and I think I would probably set it. Oh, I hate calling people. That's the one thing I dislike the most. Getting enough people around on the right times.
Yeah.
That's a piss off. That's a piss off. I think what I would do in the beginning is create the very beginning of it and then see how everybody is, first of all. So get the people that are asked, have that, and then see if they would like to continue with that path or stop or step out and see how it rolls. So there would be a test game.
Yeah, so I would pick Scoundrel as my rogue. It's going to need dexterity, but it really...
You can't have everything else on 6. Yeah.
But like, dexterity and charisma are going to be what I'm going to be good at. I don't care about strength, even though it would help with some melee. I don't care. But like the whole point of scoundrel is actually like you even use for the what would be sneak attack. You bluff your way into sneak attacking.
I can see I'm already gonna have issues with you. I can already see it. Oh, Jesus.
Isn't it nice when someone comes to you with a character they have been designing for a year or two?
Yeah, too much work. I know you and goblins are going to be the fucking issue. Everybody else I can kind of get away with. Oh, fuck. Gob's theories crafts way too fucking much. And he'll be theory crafting, he's fucking champ. But yeah, that's so far the wait, I've got other names for other male characters. I was trying to think of like really upstanding names. So like I said, the vampire bad guy is going to be called Jules Kilgore. The unholy gathering is the evil group. Still haven't thought of a moral one. Male names, I don't know why, but I went with Sherwood Preston. Adrian Wilcott. Sounds like a golf player or something, doesn't he? And Emmett Griffith. These are just like upstanding names for guys.
Sounds like
That's all
a
I've
gentleman's club members.
Yeah, exactly. They sound like they're part of.
Yeah.
It's the Adrian Wilcott as well. I was like, do I know an Adrian Wilcott?
Probably.
So specific. Yeah.
How many players are you thinking of having then?
I don't know really.
More than 5 is going to be hell for designing battles.
Yeah.
But remember, I'm not playing. I can keep. My brain is okay enough for certain things, and I think I'm far harsher than you. So I would stop people from rambling too much because you're far too kind to us most of the time.
That's because I don't just plan more than like end point and maybe 1 or 2 side points. So whenever you start doing shenanigans, I have to rethink of how am I going to successfully point you to a new direction.
Yep.
That's why I'm so giving on your ramblings.
Yeah, okay, cool.
He's borrowing the time.
But yeah, so sorcerer, I would go diabolic. And the bloodline skills are deception and religion. Granted spells, charm, of course. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, why wouldn't? Yeah.
Flaming sphere, because there is no actual manipulating skill. Manipulation spell on that 2nd level. Third
you know what
is
flaming
enthrall. Flaming sphere. It's a concentration spell that actually, like, you summon a sphere
Baldur's Gate.
of
It's
fire,
one of the major ones. Yeah.
I feel I really should be playing Baldur's Gate.
4th level, suggestion. Of course, why wouldn't it be?
Why not?
5th level, crushing despair.
Are you going to get detect faults at any point? Detect faults. Is that an intelligence spell? Because no, I think it's a wisdom intelligence spell, is it? Just a wisdom or intelligence?
Detect spell is on Pathfinder. It's
I think it can
specific.
be wisdom as well, because I have it on my Spore Druid and some other wisdom character I have, detect faults. You can have it as a priest sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a wisdom spell too.
True seeing. 7th, divine decree. Just imagine how a stupid person is going to use that.
Yeah, no, because you're dumb. All right, so I'll be like, "What are you gonna ask? What dumb question are you gonna do?"
No, the divine decree is that I order someone to do something and force them to do it, even if they don't want to. Anything
Yeah,
except
that's fine.
basically
It'll be
killing
dumb though.
themselves.
I'm pretty sure your intelligence will be dumb. I'll get you to pick and then roll what for one of these picks.
Yeah, I'm going to be like it's I came up with stupid ideas, but those stupid ideas would be actually just messing with other people. But yeah, whatever. I can come up with very, very stupid stuff. And divine aura. Well, I'm very divine, ain't I? And ninth rank, meteor storm. Oh,
Okay,
swarm.
yeah, meteor storm. Okay.
And since it is actually the damage is based on sorcerer on charisma, like I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, but I have the maximum charisma, and I have meteor swarm.
Yep, it's gonna be fun.
And also, all of my fire-based spells make
Will have
+1, +2, +3 damage. Even if I miss, I will hit with the +1 damage or +2 damage.
Yay! White, you might want to ask your Baldur's Gate question now because Dragon's fallen asleep.
He's been
I'm
for a while.
going to put
you
the
mean?
stream away.
No, like I said, I was wondering